Hello, everybody. Welcome back to All Things Scientology, in which we pull back the curtain on the abusive practices of Scientology. We're your hosts. I'm Claire Headley.
And I'm Amy Scobie with my wonderful husband, Matt Pesh, tonight.
Hello.
And your wonderful husband, Marc Headley.
Yes.
Wow. How did we get so blessed?
I don't know, but I'm just counting every day.
I can't tell if that was sarcastic or not.
Does it even matter?
Me and Mark know that we're blessed. Believe me, we know.
Yeah. Yep. Shake your head there, Marc.
Having another day in paradise, living the dream, free from a cult. Right. Yay.
Oh,
yeah. Yep. Very true.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Oh, well, anyway, we've got lots of fun information for everybody today. And boy, I wonder what our combined experience is with Scientology, both inside and then since leaving. Between the four of us, it's a lot. It's quite a bit. And there's a lot of fun information we're going to share today. But the first thing I'd like to do is acknowledge some people to see who is here from around the world. Because it truly is an international show and we love having everybody here and always want to say hi and acknowledge the fact that you've made the effort to be here. Oh my gosh, some of these comments, I'm the star. But anyway, well, hello from Clearwater, wherever you're from, okay?
What about this one? Here we go, I got a good one. Eric Pours Paint. Good evening from the Chicago Ideal Org. Alrighty then.
Oh,
good one.
Okay, well, we're happy you're here for sure. Yes. Yep, and we got greetings from Clearwater, Dallas, Texas.
Nice. Yeah. Kaz Fern's in the house. Yay. Hey, Kaz.
Good. Nice. And we've got greetings from Utah, y'all.
Nice.
Oh,
and we've got Susie Q, Clearwater, Los Angeles.
Yeah. Good. Well, we got Georgia. Goldie's in the house.
Yay.
And here's another one from Georgia. Yeah.
Nice. And
on the same
got,
town.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Duluth, Minnesota.
And Clearwater, Long Island. Somebody from your neck of the woods.
There you go.
Yep. And we got Central Arkansas.
Oh, from a poet. Hello, Brian Lucas.
Hello, Brian. We have Quebec. Nice. North Carolina. And somebody had to throw this in. That's for you to read. Oh, who did that? Was that you?
That was me.
Funny.
That was me, but I did it from the all tab instead of clicking Bone for Good. So it said that from all of us. It said Saskatchewan. It might even have gone out on Twitter too. It might have just said Saskatchewan I didn't even spell it right. I just put it in there as a comment, but I didn't know it was going to go out from all of us. Sorry.
It's perfect. Yes. Okay. Well, hello everyone. So we are very happy to be with you today. And so let's go ahead and get started on a weekend review. So let's see. Okay, I put weekending October 4th, 2023.
Oh my gosh, that's an inside joke if I ever saw one. It only would have been more inside if it was W/E. Weekending.
Oh, but then, I'd have to, so weekending, because every week ended at Thursday at 2, but our weekending is Wednesday night. So, yes.
Just to be different, mix it up a little.
Yep. Okay, so the first thing that I did was the final chapter of my book, chapter 15, narration, and that completed all of the chapters. That one was super emotional. Like I even sobbed in there. And I even recorded it the first time, sobbing my brains out, and then realized halfway through that I didn't push the record button, which is good because people didn't need to see that. But even after recording it a second time, it still really got me. There's such up and downs. The chapter is about leaving Scientology and restarting in the world. And so seeing my dad for the first time in all those years, and getting started with Matt and how enthusiastic we were, but then getting the forced disconnection with my mom. So the whole thing was a roller coaster ride. But I finished that, and then I did the profile of a sociopath. I recorded that as well. And that's also fantastic. I also realized that the profile of a sociopath, all of those characteristics can also apply to an organization, not just an individual. Like the whole organization of Scientology fits those characteristics.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, I realized it as I was reading it. And, you know, during the video, it's really something. I mean, maybe that's an obvious thing, but it wasn't obvious to me, you know?
Yeah.
I know it's a criminal organization, but to know that it fits the characters, like it's a live thing that fits the characteristics of that kind of a being, person.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that was pretty interesting. And I finished that. So now I'm going to be putting together the audiobook. So I have to just delete my welcomes and my exits and whatever, and put that all together as an audiobook. And then that'll be done.
That's
Yes.
exciting.
Then the next video that we did was even more leaks from the Flag Land base. And that was Matt and I. I love this picture because it's not just one little leak.
Every week she shows the leaks getting bigger.
You're gonna need to get some waterfall stock shots next.
That's what I was saying. Niagara Falls.
Yeah, Niagara Falls. Dave Miscavige in a little barrel at the
Yeah.
going over the falls.
SPTV written on the outside.
But that's also, it was wonderful. It was because we are able to answer many people's questions about their loved ones. And to me, it's an honor to be able to do that. And because I know how much pain is involved in not hearing, not knowing, and everything like that. And I wish I could do that for all Scientology and not just the Clearwater base, because people are like, can you find out in Denmark? Can you find out in Los Angeles? I don't have those, or he doesn't have those.
We need to recruit spies.
Okay.
International spy group.
Yep. But I
we
wish
have
I could tell everybody.
And we have a program coming that will, once everything's ready, we'll announce it, and it will be amazing.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. To help get everybody reconnected with their loved ones and find them.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people on the outside who have information. So, and I love that people are feeding us information as well. It really helps connect the dots.
Absolutely.
So that was a public service from us this week. And then here we go. So Marc, I love this picture of Marc.
Yeah, it's very, very animated. Always very.
Always, yeah.
I love
Mitch and I are having some fun with those videos, because a lot of the stories that we have, they don't necessarily go with the film. But as we're kind of covering these films, we remember other things about even sometimes that specific film. But for what goes on at the international headquarters, it's a good series to talk about specifically what happened with the films. And I've got two more people that I'm going to be covering: construction at the Int base, and the other thing that we're most likely going to cover is manufacturing at the Int base. Since I was in both, had something to do with both of those areas as well, we're going to cover that as well. So that'll be another two series coming up with two new SPTV channels that are coming online.
Nice.
Great.
Really? Two new channels coming online?
Well, they're working on it. Don't worry about it. Take it easy. It'll be a surprise.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's really good.
I am really excited.
Anyway, I'll be on. New channels are starting up.
Yeah,
I know.
It's like at least one a week has been popping up, and they're really good too.
Yeah.
Did you like the letter that we sent you this week
with the
Amy? With our little note, like, dear SPTV contributor and creator.
yeah, absolutely. I totally did. Yes. And we have a slide that's going to cover that.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are just so professional. You are. But anyway, this one, just back to this one, it says this one was Danny Masterson's first Scientology film, TR6. I was just noticing that in the title. Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Yeah. Interesting.
That was actually his first film ever, Scientology or otherwise, we think.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Wow.
I think he was 15 or 16 at the time.
Right. Okay. And then both of you guys were on Andrew Gold's, and it says SP origin story. So what was that about, you guys?
We were talking about how we met, and we went on all different tangents, of course, as one always does when talking about anything Scientology related. But yeah, it was a fun conversation for sure.
Yeah.
Andrew is very knowledgeable about all things Scientology, so he's easy to talk to. And Mark and I were talking the other day, going on these other channels and just having questions from somebody outside is always really interesting, because they ask very different questions than, for example, we would ask each other.
Yeah. Right.
Well, we wouldn't even ask each other those questions at all. So yeah, no, I like Andrew. He is versed in other cults as well. So he's able to pull from those interviews and those experiences and just general knowledge of all these other things that are going on. And so I want to say that the videos we do with him, we usually cover things that we don't cover on our channel, and they usually end up doing pretty good on YouTube as well.
Oh, that's really good.
Because he's got a pretty good audience on YouTube. So yeah, we like just supporting other channels that are getting the word out, and he's done a really good job of getting the word out about Scientology in the UK and everywhere, because his channel can be watched anywhere in the world. So
right, yeah. One day we should have him on All Things Scientology.
Yeah,
as our guest.
Yeah, that's a great
as our
idea.
guest, and
how he got involved and how he
I'm really
started
interested
on the subject. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions. That would be really wonderful. And then, of course, this was a real revelation. Scientology elder abuse. This was number 2, part 2, with Mike Brown, concerning his mom, Rosemary. And boy, I'm telling you, part 1 and part 2, that's to be saved for the ages, and and promoted to anyone and everyone inside and out, so that they know what's going on. It's vital.
Yes, very definitely.
So next week we're going to have Mike Brown on this show, All Things Scientology. So that's going to be really good, because I've got a lot of questions. I knew Rosemary really, really well, because the exec strata worked within 10 feet of me. So she was there all the time, and she was just always very service oriented and everything. And, I just wanted to know, I have all kinds of questions for Mike about, when he got up there and all that kind of stuff. And he's done different shows, like with Aaron and Sterling. So it just really jogged my memory on things. So I've got a lot of questions for him. It'd be fun. That'll be next week. Yeah. Nice. And then the week after that, actually is going to be Christy Colburn Rinder. She's going to come back on with us, Claire and I.
Yay.
And and we're going to talk about how when we left, we thought Scientology is good, but the organization is bad. And then that transforming into the whole thing sucks. It's a destructive cult.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you say that, because whenever people would come out, we would tell a lot of people that had come out and were just like, the whole thing's a scam. And when these new people come out, they'd say, well, they still believe in Scientology. And I'm always like, just give them a minute.
Give it a minute.
Yeah.
Let them get out in the real world. Once they get outside the bubble, and they start finding out about all the stuff that's going on and sharing stories and all the corruption and criminality. And then I'm pretty sure 1 for 1, people would usually be like, hey, yeah, no, I think it's bullshit now too. I'm like, see, you just got to give them enough time. Got to give them enough time.
My all-time favorite was, we went to some kind of gathering with a bunch of people that were still in that phase of exit. And they were
They
talking
call themselves independents.
yeah, at the time.
Yeah.
None of them are still independent, by the way.
Yeah.
But Mark literally said, okay, guys, hold on a minute. I just want to make one thing very clear. I pee in your Kool-Aid.
Whenever they would start
Yes.
to, they would, a lot of times they would try to like sell me, like convince me that no, Scientology is good. And then that's what I'd be like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I thought I had established with you. You drink the Kool-Aid, I pee in the Kool-Aid. Okay, that's how it works. I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid. There's no way I'm going to drink it.
Oh my goodness.
There's no way to go back once you know the truth.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah. No.
And there's no
it
way to
does-
keep drinking Kool-Aid if Mark just told you he peed in it.
Yes.
Would have stopped me.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So this reveal, by the way, is just, like I said, is the most important thing right now, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because law enforcement needs to be all over it. I know that the investigations are being done, and everyone needs their money back. Everyone needs to get out of Scientology. It's part of their system, their stat push. The only thing that matters is the statistic situation that goes on in Scientology. That's a mentality. And anyway, it's just highly, highly destructive. And this is shining a light on just how severe and destructive it is. So
It keeps getting more severe. That's the crazy thing. You know, just when you think it's gotten to like the top, the worst it could be, it like 5X is that. You know, it just keeps going and going. What's it going to take, man? It's
Yeah.
just amazing.
The other kind of crazy thing about this is, which I didn't really put the pieces together, but Mitch Brisker and Rachel Hastings were doing a video earlier today. They might actually even still be live, or they might have just finished. But they talk about the Scientology media productions in Los Angeles, and they spent millions and millions of dollars on equipment that they didn't even use. And this money was fundraised just like they do all this other fundraising. And when you find out how much pressure the staff are under to get that money in, and then they're stealing money off people's credit cards and all this, and then in the end you find out, oh, they just spent it, like they literally spent millions of dollars on cameras and switchers and rooms and mixing facilities that have never been used to this day.
Oh.
And so then you think, some poor person lost their entire life savings to pay for 5 cameras that have just sat in a room gathering dust for since 2017. And that's where it becomes even more criminal, that it's not even for anything. The money.
yeah.
They're just going to blow it on a building that's never going to get filled, or they're just going to waste the money because they have to spend it. So it's like, why raise it if you're just going to blow it on just useless nonsense? It just seems, it just kind of compounds the criminality of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. And so the next thing is the YouTube comment of the week. And this was on that Mike Brown video. So Claire, would you like to go ahead and read that?
Sure. Yes. At JLinnyPoo112. The Aftermath Foundation is incredible, as are all of you. The lives you touch and change through your foundation is incredible. May the good you put out into the world find you all tenfold. Such an amazing live tonight, you guys. Wow. Rosemary, you're absolutely beautiful. Wishing you all of the happiness that you deserve, which is all of it. Mike B, it's been really great learning a bit about you during the last few videos I've seen with you here and on Aaron's channel. Looking forward to your channel. To all of the under the radar folks, I wish you a life of freedom and happiness. Life can be so much more meaningful on the outside. To Mike, Claire, and Mike, sending love. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love it. I love it. You're catching Mike.
No,
I had
it's
to
all
put
good.
Kiwi was, now I wouldn't mind, but it's my book that I'm working on. Somehow Kiwi got his little paws on.
Oh boy.
So yeah, so he had to go in the little kennel over here.
He's in jail.
He's in jail right now.
Yeah, and by the way, talk about week in review. We would be remiss if we didn't all wish you a very happy birthday, Amy.
Yes.
Yay.
I have a little slide in here.
Oh, okay,
you
good.
know.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And a couple of funny stories, but thank you. Yes, 60 years old. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Wow.
And you can see the beautiful flowers you
Congratulations.
sent Amy in the background
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Right here.
Yay.
With the balloon.
Nice. Awesome. I love it.
Thank you for those. That arrived right on my birthday in the morning. It was beautiful.
Nice. Yay.
Then what we have is, this is also from a word that you selected, Claire. So Scientology word of the week. Go for it.
Okay, word of the week, aberrated. Scientology definition, the number of outpoints the guy is carrying around in his skull is how aberrated he is. It has everything to do with his competence. Real world definition, diverge from the expected. So in other words, clearly those who won't conform in Scientology are considered aberrated. And yes, this is one of those words that is thrown around as a slur in Scientology. Oh, can you believe he's so aberrated? Or, you know, that person, Joe has to get his aberrations handled, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really awesome how you said those who won't conform in Scientology are considered aberrated, because it's a divergent from the expected. You are expected to comply. You are expected to conform.
Totally.
Right. Right. And what's so wrong with diverging from the expected?
I know. Be yourself.
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
You know, instead of a stupid robot, you know?
Yeah. That's what's wanted. Just work robots.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who has the preordained power to determine your path other than you? Nobody.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. But it's really something when you take a look at just how much they try to strip you of everything other than shut up and work. You know, those are your rights. Just shut up and work. And if you like at all poke your head up or whatever, bam, you know, just create some robots.
Yep.
Okay, the next one is quote of the week. And I just grabbed something that I thought was really good, which is, "You must be the change you wish to see in the world." Mahatma Gandhi.
Yes. One of my all-time favorites. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, and then I got a photo of the week. Woohoo!
Nice.
This is from the United Kingdom. Her name is Jo, and she got I Don't Do Cults cup and my book.
Nice. Oh, that's amazing.
It arrived fast. I was really happy to see that. So the mail lines are working really fast, even to the United Kingdom. So I was happy about that.
That's amazing.
Yes. And then we have, okay, hold on. Let me look at something here. Okay. So now we have show and tell. And the first thing I want to bring up is this guy.
Captain Chucklesworth.
Yeah. So you can read that, Claire.
DM Elf presale has begun. Presale link was sent out to all supporters and volunteers of the Aftermath Foundation. The links will go live for general sale at the spshop.com on Friday, October 6th. So we're on Wednesday, so this coming Friday. And because we had so many amazing name suggestions, we just decided to use all of them. So we will be able to see which name is the most popular. Obviously, Captain Chucklesworth has an unfair advantage right at the moment because he's the link, the pre-sale link, because they're all hidden right now. So you had to have received an email with the link to be able to purchase. So Captain Chucklesworth is the one that's sold so far, but there are so many other amazing descriptions. You've got to read all the descriptions. Read to the very end. You will be laughing your head off. If you're having a rough day, just take a moment and visit the spshop.com and read any one of those descriptions and you will be laughing.
Yeah.
So Friday we can read all those?
Yes.
Yeah, you'll be able to read those.
Okay.
And now a lot of people have asked if they come with pins, and they don't come with like push pins to make them like a voodoo doll. If you want to do that, you have to do that on your own. I'm not supporting. encouraging it, but I don't judge if you want to do that. I will say try to stay away from his mouth area because he's going to end up testifying in court or have to, at least plead guilty or something. So just try to stay away from his mouth or his head area with the pins. And and then that way Captain Poopy Pants doesn't get too bad. And this is a life size, actually. This is life size. So anybody who's wondering, I'm not sure about the lighting on this guy. Yeah, no, he looks pretty good. And
It's
he
pretty
has this
good.
stupid
Pretty good.
little dumpy hat, and it's perfect. It's literally
Troll of the Hole. That's my favorite.
Troll of the Hole, Captain Poopy Pants, the fart, Davy the fart elf. You mean whatever people asked for, it's in there. They're all in there.
I think it's brilliant that you did that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I have to find the
It
video.
can be anyone.
I have
It
to
can be
find the
anyone.
video where I thought of it and then play that as well, because we were just doing a live like this and somebody said you should make maybe like an Elf on the Shelf doll, and I was like, oh, that's a genius, we're gonna do it.
Yes. Yeah, we will
I
have
saw
to
that
find that.
video. I saw your wheels go like this. Yes.
And did you
saw
see
that.
my wheels going reverse, reverse, reverse? Oh no, that's a lot of
yes.
packaging.
Oh, no.
Our children are expert packagers at this point. They know how to do a production line. No problem.
That's great.
Excellent experience.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a few things to show. So, okay. First, I got this wonderful birthday card from a subscriber, Linda. Check out that queen bee.
Nice.
Oh, nice. I love that.
Yeah, the cutest queen bee. Anyway, and then I got Lara FM sent me her CD with a beautiful
that's
letter
awesome.
and a T-shirt. Be my, and then it's got a bee on it. So cute. I don't know if I showed you had this little care.
Oh yes,
and,
yes.
And bag and with all the SPTV logos on it, and I got
really
that
nice.
too from Lisa. Really good quality. She makes it from scratch, like from repurposed jeans and sheets and different things like that. And this is really nice. Anyway, I don't think I showed that before.
No,
Lisa.
shout out to Dragonfish Handmade Goods, I think is the name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dragonfish Handmade Goods.
Yes. Awesome.
And her name is Lisa. And then let's see. I think his name was Ron because I didn't keep the card, but I got these key fobs that say SP Amy, and he got one that says SP Matt.
Nice.
And let's see. Oh, and so for my birthday, Matt laid 2 cards on my desk. Neither of them are signed, right? And I said, "What is this?" And he said, "I got it from the dollar store, 2 for $1." And he said, pick the one that you like the most, and that's your card.
I told her that the helium balloon, I got it for 75 cents because it was low on air.
Yeah. But
They asked if they should fill it with more air, and he said, "No, that's okay."
But now, Amy, you have both cards. How is he going to take the other one back that you didn't pick?
Or is that one for next year?
That's a good
Next
idea,
year.
Matt. Put that one in a folder. It says 2024.
Yeah, you can even sign it. Neither of them are signed.
I can even use the same one again because you'll forget by next year.
Yeah, I have a show and tell. So last week we had an interesting comment about fudge emanating from Uranus, Missouri, and I think we all thought it was a joke until I received this in the mail.
Uranus Fudge Factory and General Store. The best fudge comes from Uranus.
Yeah. So
Mark is
now
He's
you
like-
know.
You're shaking your head, Mark. You say worse things than that all the time.
The fudge is delicious.
I'm going to keep
by
my
the
mouth
way.
shut. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. That's all there is to it. I'm not saying
You
anything. Somebody's going to
shoulda
clip.
heard.
If whatever I say, somebody will clip it and it'll be a video. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to keep.
He
my
just
mouth shut.
realized he's been eating out of that box for a week and never read what it said on the outside.
No, Claire and the boys have been dipping into that fudge pretty decently. I can tell you that right now.
Oh,
okay.
love Sherlock in the comments said Aaron got some too. Love Sherlock says,
Good.
Aaron loves the fudge. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It is really good fudge.
Oh,
Yeah, and they
that's
do
funny.
an amazing job of packing the fudge there too at
Okay, you're keeping your mouth shut.
I thought you
gotta,
promised.
it's so funny. It's so funny. Like, we all get into the studio before we push the live button and we're talking and just coordinating things and stuff like that. Okay, just anytime Mark is in the equation, I'm pouring tears out my face before we even push live. I mean,
That's why we were
anyway.
a little late today. She had to make her
Yeah.
face right again after the pre-roll session that I threw at her.
Okay, so those were my things. Anything I missed? I did show you the flowers and balloons. Okay, so that's good. Oh, and I gotta tell you, oh, this is so funny. So my Aunt Colleen, I don't know if she's watching, but so she sent me let's see, I sent her a birthday gift because her birthday is on my birthday. She's 13 years older than me. I was her 13th birthday gift. And anyway, so I sent her a birthday gift, and then she sent me something, but she said, you'll never guess what it is in a million billion years. Okay. And I said, okay, give me a couple hints and I'll guess. And she said, you won't guess. So she gave me a couple of hints and it was my third guess. So that was fun. And she said,
the package that came.
okay, so hold on. She goes, so I said, do you want to hear something funny? I told her about the 2 cards I got from my husband saying, pick one and it's yours. And she said, do you want to hear something funny? I accidentally sent you something that I bought for our garden. It's called chicken poop. Because she ordered something on Amazon to my address. She forgot to change it back when she ordered her chicken poop. So on my doorstep was a whole thing of chicken poop.
And it's like a fertilizer for your garden.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. She has raised beds and she does all kinds of different things. Anyway, so yeah, I got fertilizer now.
Nice.
Anyway,
Somebody's just
So the-
saying, I'm just going to star the comment so we could bring it up later, actually.
okay. So this was my. How do you like that? That's pretty, huh?
That's
That is pretty.
nice.
That's my 60th. Yes. And so before we go out of this, I just want to say, if you're not subscribed to either Blown for Good or Queen BSB, please subscribe to our channels. And I just went over 11,000, which is wonderful.
Yay.
So-
Hey, congratulations.
Yes. So I wanted to do a book giveaway of Scientology Abuse at the Top for hitting another 1,000. And
Awesome.
I'd like to do that now, if you guys don't mind.
No, not at all.
Awesome.
Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to go over to the comments. Amy, you look fabulous. Okay, you won a book.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Abdazzle, you slayed it on that
You gave
one.
away
you
yours.
just-
You gave it away, Amy.
the timing, the statement, everything couldn't have been right place at the right time. That's what I say.
Nailed it.
Send me your email address and email me your address and I'll send you a signed book from Matt and I.
Okay,
Yay.
Amy, pick one more for BFG paperback because somebody actually, a very
Oh.
kind supporter and watcher of SPTV, donated 5 paperbacks for giveaway.
Wow.
Yes,
Nice.
an
Okay,
amazing
let's do
person
it.
with an amazing story. Really appreciate it. But so since this booked me
Wow.
flying by, I'm giving you the honor of picking another one.
Okay, good. So here we go.
Look at everyone. Oh, see, they didn't learn from the last gal. SP
No,
Sarah. Ooh, I
it's
like
okay.
the screen
Yes,
name, SP
me too.
Sarah.
Yeah,
Boo.
I saw
One.
that and yeah, nice. You get a book.
Nice.
So tell her where to send her email.
Yes. So SP Sarah, please send me an email,
Handle.
claire@blownforgood.com. And I just need your address and we will
happy
mail
he's
you
coming.
a signed copy of Mark's book, Blown for Good, Behind the Iron Curtain of Scientology.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's wonderful. So we're all done with the week in review. So like I said, coming up next week, we'll have Mike Brown on this show. And the week after that, we'll have Christy on the show, which will be wonderful. And if you have questions for either of them, get those ready. And, you can send them ahead of time, or you can just have them ready for when you are watching us live. So the topic for the week. Okay. Now, we've taken up a lot of these before, but this is strange Sea Org practices. Strange things, weird things you do in the Sea Org, right? And I had a big, long list. We've gone through some of these, but I still have a bunch. And so I thought it would be fun for us to talk about those.
Mark's got one. Go ahead, Mark.
What? Oh, no. Somebody messaged us that used to be in Scientology and they were in the Sea Org. And they emailed us the other day, both Claire and I, or messaged or whatever, and said, hey, what was in Panther Piss? And for those who don't know what that means, when you are on the rehabilitation project force, a lot of times you're doing hard labor and you're doing it in the sun or in the heat. And one of the things they feed you to drink on the RPF is this liquid. It's usually in a giant jug or pot or one of those like Gatorade coolers.
Yep.
And it's, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've never ever had. One time I took a tiny sip and then I never drank it for the rest of time.
It takes a bit, but you get used to it.
Oh,
you got to develop a taste for it. Oh man.
I drank gallons of that stuff.
Me too.
It's vinegar. Am I right? It's vinegar.
Yeah.
Sometimes
white apple vinegar.
Yeah,
Apple cider.
vinegar,
Apple
honey,
cider vinegar.
apple cider vinegar, honey, potassium.
Well, that makes potassium apparently.
It doesn't have potassium as an extra ingredient. Vinegar is very high in potassium.
Oh, okay. So then,
sometimes lemon.
Yeah, if you were lucky, they'd throw a dash of lemon, or maybe just throw some chopped up lemons in there as just an added flavor.
Or oranges. Sometimes we chop up oranges and chuck them in
my
there.
goodness, it is the most disgusting liquid I've ever come across.
And who the hell thought of the name Panther Piss? Seriously.
Well, they tasted. No, I know. I heard the origin story. Somebody that was on the RPF used to work at a zoo, and they said that tasted just like Panther Piss. And so that's how it was named.
That's not true.
No,
See, I'm learning.
You want to hear a funny story about the Panther Piss? We were at the Sandcastle working, and we had about, over 100 non-Scientologists work on the job site. And we had the RPF there work on the job site. And they were always drinking the Panther Piss at RPF. So a new construction worker saw the RPF drinking out of it. So he went over there and he got a cup of it. And before he could drink it, the other guys were yelling, "Don't drink that! Don't drink that! It has drugs in it. That's what keeps the Scientologists up all night." They literally thought it was drugs in the Panther Piss.
There's cocaine in the Panther Piss.
He was to work around the clock. He didn't have to sleep.
Oh my god!
Because the Sea Org members are just always up around the clock. Like sometimes we would be working, and then the hired construction workers would come in the next morning. We're still in the same place doing the same thing.
Yes.
Just nuts.
I remember that when we would be working on a project and they'd be like, "Hey, when did you guys leave?" And we'd be like, "Leave? No." Remember when you guys left at 6 o'clock yesterday? Yeah, we've been here ever since that time. We didn't go to get anything to eat. We didn't take a shower. We didn't sleep. No, we have been here the whole time working and waiting for you to come back so you could help us do some more work. And then we might go another night. And they would literally just be like, I don't know how these guys do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had one of the construction workers come up and he was really concerned. He says, 4 of these women that have been laying tile all through the night and, just work nonstop, they're grandmothers. Because he had talked to them enough to realize they were grandmothers. And he couldn't get through his head, like, how are they carrying bags of concrete and mixing it and they're doing it day in and day out. And yeah, that was something. I mean, sometimes, just so you know, sometimes the RPF women would take off with one of these construction workers and start a new life.
Oh, that happened a bunch of times.
I was just going to say at the base, that was like, oh, what happened to blah, blah, blah? I'd be like, she ran off with one of the contractors. And you're like, what? Be like, yep. They were shacking
An
up.
electrical contractor asked me to take off with him. An electrical contractor totally. I got sent to the RPF for him asking me.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I didn't even do anything.
Before the
Wow.
Aftermath Foundation, there was construction workers.
Yeah.
Right. Helping you start a
Thank you
new
for your
life after
service.
Scientology.
Jump in my truck. We're out of here.
Thank you
Oh
for
He
your
probably thought he
service.
was doing you a favor, Amy.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was up day and night. I was an electrician by day, and then through the night we were laying tile and grouting and doing all this stuff, and then I would be doing electrical the next day when that team came in, and I hadn't slept in weeks.
Yeah,
Months.
the outside workers were actually very concerned about the women seeing how they were working. They really were. And they
Yeah.
were willing to help them escape if they wanted to get out of there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've heard the
Yeah.
same about kids at the cadet org. Like people would be like, meaning outside workers would be very, very concerned. And most often the kids would be made to hide. So the outside workers would not see them doing the heavy labor that they did on a regular basis. Yeah.
Yeah. So they always have to cover stuff up because they do such criminal, stupid things.
Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
like anyway, there was a drill whenever some authority figure or whatever came, everyone scurries into some sort of different location, or they do this puff piece PR stuff. Like Marc, remember, Tom Cruise is going to come to the base, so everybody's like in different uniforms and manning up this area, and then switch a uniform and man up that area to look like
The
you're
good
Yeah,
looking
props.
people are
the
there, and the
20
ugly people, they get out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the ugly
exactly.
people-
The
They hide
20
them.
staff. Yeah, there's 20 staff approved to be seen by Tom Cruise. The rest of you get the heck out of here. And you guys are just
Yeah.
going to be shuffled around. So
for real.
But I
For
would
real.
say we'd be up for a week before he got there, white gloving every single part of the property. There'd be an electrical room that no one had been in 5 years. We would white glove that room just in case Tom said, "Hey, what's in that room?" And then Dave Miscavige was like, "Oh, there's a bunch of batteries in there. You want to go look at them?" And then it's like, why are we white gloving this? There was a building next to one of the studios. It was called the dimmer room, and it just had dimmers in it.
Yeah.
I was the shoot crew chief for many, many years, and that was one of our buildings. And I hadn't been in there in 8 years. And somebody was like, "We got to go white glove the dimmer room." And I'm like, why? No one, the batteries have been dead for 6 years. What are we going to go do in there?
crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I remember that dimmer room because I did the electrical in there. Okay, did you have something?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so here's a funny one. I mean, just this whole thing of group processing. Stand up. Everybody stands up. Take a look at that wall. Shake the person's hand next to you. Sit down. Feel your chair. Stamp your feet. What else do you do? Like what?
Jump up and down, wave
Yeah.
your hands in the air, but you're doing it on a whole group of people. So it could be
Yeah.
20 people, it could be 50 people, it could be 100 people, and you have the person at the head of the room leading the entire crowd, and you're doing it together and in unison. And yeah.
And it's freaky. It's because, like, when do you do stuff like that? When do you feel your chair? Okay, I guess it's supposed to bring everybody to present time or something like that, but anyway, it's a stupid thing. And then they would have these fake Sunday services to be in tax compliance, and then all they would really do is these group processing type of things, to raise everyone's tone.
Yeah. So
And here's the other. Yeah,
Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
I just have 2 comments. First of all,
Yeah.
Matt and Amy, have you ever been to a Sunday service?
No.
Oh, yeah, I have. You know why?
You have.
Why?
Why?
Yes, because the ethics people would come around and pick staff, and you have to stick with them and stuff. You need to get in there. They're trying to fill the seats in the auditorium so that it really looks like there's a Sunday service. So if you're like not really tied into something important at that minute, then you're shuffled in there to take a seat.
So that they
Wow.
can take a picture to say, "Oh, we do it. We have."
Because
we have
Sunday
these things.
services only became a thing after the IRS granted tax exempt status,
Totally.
by my recollection. There were never
It was
Sunday
right
services
before because
that. Yep.
no, it was a requirement to be a church. to do something like that. So it was put in to say, okay, we have it in, and then it just fell right out. We had programs. I was supposed to get Sunday services being held in every org in the world. We had programs for that to be in compliance with the IRS requirements. But then after that, it was just like, what are we doing? We're just doing a bunch of group processing, which is a bunch of ridiculous things. The other thing that we would...
Well, hold on. You reminded me. So that was one question
Yeah.
I had. You reminded me just now of some group processing that I did with you, Amy.
Uh-oh.
That
No
was,
wonder.
it was called money processing.
That's what I was just going to say. Money processing.
Do you remember that I did this with you and a bunch of other management executives?
Was it in the Qual building?
No, it was in Del Sol. It was
It
was on the second floor of Del Sol in like 1998 or 1998, I think. And so I was in Religious Technology Center. For everybody listening who has no idea what we're talking about, money processing is a form of group processing. So it's a group of people. And the thought is that the reason people can't bring in huge amounts of money is because they have low havingness. They can't have lots of money. So how do you cure that? Is you get tens of thousands of cash dollar bills, and then you bring it into a room and you have them throw the money around the room.
You crumple it up, you shove it down your shirt, you like throw it in the air, you just like go crazy on these dollar bills.
You know what would happen every time we did that at Flag?
Lose money.
You lost money?
I was going to say, there's a few $100 that no one can find. I don't know where it went. Yeah,
yes.
And I would say, like, looks like...
finding out who stole the money.
And everybody on the meter.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're trying to teach us how to have money, but they don't allow us to have the money. What's going on here? I don't know. You're confused. You're sending out mixed messages here.
Yeah.
No, it was
crazy.
It was processing so you make money for the org, not for yourself.
Yeah.
That's what
some of the people just couldn't give that money back. They were like stuffing it in their pockets and stuff.
That's a good, that when there was a whole bunch of us in New York, when we were getting there's a Scientology organization right around the corner from Times Square. And David Miscavige got really mad at a bunch of Sea Org members that were there, and he kicked them out of the Sea Org and said, here's $500, now get out. And then they left. And they were like, okay, David Miscavige just told me I was out of the Sea Org and gave me $500. A good friend of mine who's not in the Sea Org anymore, he took the $500, and him and this other guy, they went and ate pizza down at Times Square. They were like, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. And then it took them months and months and months. But obviously David Miscavige said, they get those guys back and get them back to work and all that. But my friend, months had gone by, and Shelley Miscavige would message him and say, hey, I need that $500 back. That was Dave's money that he gave you. And
she even had me sec check that person to find out why he hadn't given the money back.
He wouldn't give the 500. He wouldn't give it back. He was like, no. You gave me $500 and you said GTFO. So I'm keeping the $500. That was was my, that's how this works. He wouldn't give it back.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. Before I forget, Sunday processing, there is a video on YouTube on a channel called Reckless Ben. And him and this other guy would wear these undercover spy glasses, and they went to a Sunday service, and the guy in the video is blurred out, but it's John Alesso down in PAC, and he's the one doing the Sunday service. Look at that, shake 5 people's hands, whatever the Sunday service processing was. There's a video doing that. We'll put it in the link in the description on our video, but I sent you the link in the private chat, Amy, so you have it as well. If you want to put it in there.
Yeah, I see that.
It's real good. I've seen it.
But it's a really good example. And these guys, they infiltrated LA Org. They infiltrated the Sunday service. They did, I want to say there was like 2 or 3 videos that they did where, and they even had a guy, one of them admitted that he stole some money. And that was the only way he had any money. And they were like, well, you can buy the book with that money. We don't care. You just have to sort that out with your friend. But, cause he kept saying, I don't have $25. And they're like, well, how can you get it? And they really were really hard selling him on buying a book or buying a course or something. And finally, when he said, well, I did take some money, or somehow he got some money illicitly, And they were totally fine to take that money from him. They had no qualms how it was obtained, the money. They just wanted it. And it was $25. That was the other thing that he was like, these guys are really losing their mind over this $25 or how much ever it was. It was a very small denomination.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw that
Crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. Oh, before we do the next one, can we do the next book giveaway of the hour? Honey, it's your turn.
Okay.
So everybody, we are giving away a signed paperback copy of Blown for Good, Behind the Iron Curtain of Scientology by Mr. Marc Headley himself. So put book me or whatever you want to put in the comments, and Mark will randomly pick somebody.
Yeah, I'm just going to I've got this book by Frank Herbert. I'm just going to read that real quick while we wait. Amy really loves when I do this quickly, and I never do it quickly. So, Catherine, BFG, please me. You win.
Yay, Catherine. Congratulations. Shoot me an email at claire@blownforgood.com with your address, and we will get that off to you right away.
Yay. Congratulations, Catherine. I mean, you've had enough bad luck with getting two names, so figured you need a little pick-me-up there.
She says, no way.
After all that money processing, Sea Org members can work 120 hours a week and be penniless. Matt was saying, when we were making this list, he goes, I never seen so many people roll their own cigarettes, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I first came into the Sea Org and I saw people on the, working, doing renovations, and they were rolling their own cigarettes. The only place I ever seen that was at we did a school trip to a psych hospital. You know what I mean? So I saw the guys rolling cigarettes, and I said, "Wow, you guys smoke pot here?" I mean, I got in trouble for that back in New York, and they're like, "No." But yeah, not only that, but you see a lot of people outside, like one of the organizations where when the public finish a cigarette, they don't get to finish it all the way because they hustle back in to get back in the courtroom. You got Sea Org members going and picking these cigarettes up and putting them in little plastic bags so they can smoke it later. That's not uncommon.
We called those refries at the Imp base. We called those refries. And if you've ever smoked a cigarette and then put it out in an ashtray, it has like cigarettes don't smell the greatest. Most cigarettes don't smell the greatest just to start with. But if you put one out and it sits for a day or two, it gets a really funky smell to it. And so if somebody came into your office and they had that smell, it'd be like, oh, dude, don't come in here after smoking a refry. That's nasty, dude. You'd be like, stay out. And there was a guy, I'm going to call him out right now because he's tried to escape so many times from the Hint base that if he's still in there, then that's on him. But his name was Rick Cruzen. And he would, whenever he would come over to no matter what area you worked in, he would paw through. I mean, I almost got him a kitty litter scooper for Christmas because he would be able to mine so many more if he had one of those. But he would pick through. And if there was one, even if it had one drag left on it, he'd bust it out and smoke it right up.
I'm telling you, I mean, there was a certain time, because we had these sand ashtrays outside the different buildings and stuff, and there was a certain time you're not getting any money. And if you're an addicted smoker, I have smoked those cigarettes. Okay?
Refries?
Honey.
What? You're a refryer? I'm out, guys. That's it.
Wow, harsh, Mark. Holy moly. Don't judge.
That's nasty. Yeah, no,
I didn't have any money.
I literally I said if that would be my rock bottom. If I smoked a refry.
It was
then I was like,
bottom.
That's too much. Well, that's where
my RPF was.
Oh my God!
I can't believe refry. No, I'm kidding.
Only in this Sea organization are there multiple rock bottoms, might I note.
Yeah. I was just thinking that was my rock bottom. No, not really.
No.
Amy's like, wait till you work for somebody and you got to go round up refries for them. That's the rock bottom. You're digging through ashtrays for refries that you don't even get to smoke.
It's an immense project.
Yeah. Amy, I figured out how you can make it up to me. I want 100 refries. Go get them. Here's a bag.
Oh, man.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
You could just take the tobacco out and then roll it into.
Well, but as soon as Matt mentioned that, he's so right. I worked with this guy named Carl Lewis, and he was not an Olympic runner. He was just a really tall, old dude that I worked with. And we went to Denmark to install all the cameras and all the counseling rooms at that big building that they have in Copenhagen on Jernbanegaard in Denmark. And we installed, I don't know, probably anywhere from 50 to 100 different rooms, and most of them were cameras and stuff like that. But before we left to go to Denmark, he bought a giant thing of tobacco and a ton of rolling papers, and he had like a little automated thing that he would just sprinkle the tobacco in, and then he'd spin it. He put the paper.
I had one of those.
the rolls already had filters on them, and they had paper, but they were just empty. And he would put it in there. He would do his little thing, and he'd go, and then it would just make a perfect cigarette. And then he had a pack of cigarettes that he had bought in years before, and he would just refill that pack with these homemade, pre-rolled but cigarettes. And I thought, dude, you really that's a lot of work for a cigarette. I mean,
yeah.
Come on.
I mean, I did my own roll-ums when I went to Copenhagen because I was buying cigarettes, and then I found out that the price was actually $8 a pack, and this was 1979.
You know what? That's true. In Denmark, everything was hellaciously expensive compared to, the Sea Org canteen or wherever you guys got stuff from.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
My God.
How about the guys that have their fingers that are all yellow because they smoke those suckers all the way down?
I used to
And
have
their fingers are yellow.
I used to have my forefinger and my thumb from smoking Camel non-filters, because you'd smoke it. You'd smoke it down to the cherry. You'd be holding a cherry when you were done. So like we smoked them, and I also have really thick skin, so I could smoke just the cherry. But when I would be done with the cigarette, I would just put it out between my fingers, just roll up the cherry and just poof, and you're done. And but because of that, for many years, I had a yellow thumb and forefinger just from.
Look at Claire.
When I first when Mark and I did you, Claire? No, I did. That's a whole other story for another day. But when Mark and I first got together, I was 17, and I was like, "Oops!" It's like, I can't marry you if you smoke. It's a deal breaker. He was like, what?
Okay.
Like,
now that she said that, she just teed it up. So before we got married in 1992, I had been smoking from 1990 to 1992 when we got married. And so I didn't smoke for years. Like, I want to say probably a good 10 years I never smoked after that. And one day I had smoked a cigarette, and I'd come home, and she said, "Did you smoke a cigarette today?" And I smoked a cigarette like at 11 a.m. that day.
And now it was like 1 a.m. at
it's
night.
It's 1 a.m. in the morning. And I've washed my hands.
Today?
I've washed my face. I've had 2 meals. I drank some drinks, all this stuff. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? I had 1 cigarette. Anyway, so that might have happened like a couple, 3-4 times over the 10-year period. Mm-hmm. And I just had one here or there. Just, you don't sleep for 3 days. I'm going to have a cigarette.
I know.
Okay. Anyway, one day I'm at the house. It's like 2:30 in the morning. Claire walks in, and as a joke, as soon as she walked in, I said, "Did you smoke a cigarette today?" And she turned bright red. And I was like, "Oh, you're a criminal. You really did smoke a cigarette." And she had been secretly smoking for months before this.
Because by this time I was working in Religious Technology Center, and I was in an office with the top executive, and she was smoking all the time, like chain smoking in the office. And one day I was like, well, maybe it's going to help me stay awake, so I'll try it. But yeah, this is...
Anyway, hold on. This story ain't over, sweetness. Okay, so then when like a day or two later, she was like, "Oh, it was just," that was the best part. She said it was just 1. That's what she said. And I was like, oh, yeah, famous last words of a brand new smoker. Oh, it was just the one. Anyway, I went into her purse while she was sleeping, and she had a pack of American Spirits, yellow pack, in her purse. She had a pack of cigarettes. I was like, oh, it was just one. Anyway, I got a little tabby, and I wrote criminal, and I put a little skull and crossbones in there, and I stuck it inside the pack. So, like, she'd be at work or something, and she'd pull it out, and she'd be like, ugh. Anyway.
Which is exactly what happened, by the way. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, oops, busted.
Yeah. So anytime she says not to do something, I'm like, oh, really? How's this going to end? Are you going to do it now? After I'm not allowed to, then you're going to start it up?
Oh, that's funny.
Crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And not only do you not have money, what I wrote down on here was like, then you have to go and do your laundry in coin operated laundry machines. So all of that money goes back to the organization, so you have to save your money to even get your laundry done.
Yeah.
Or you spend it in the canteen, which is run by them.
Right.
So that
right,
46 $46 that they're paying out, they're most likely getting 40 of that back, just right back, just right away.
Yeah, and what a joke was that, by the way. So there were the two sets of apartments in Hemet. We lived at Kirby Gardens for a long time, and I think, I don't know, Mark, what do you think? It was like 200, 300, 400 staff there?
Yeah, it was about 200 to 300 at each location, because there was one apartment called Kirby Gardens on Kirby Street, and then there was another one called Devonshire. Over.
That's where I live.
Yeah, off of San Jacinto.
So all of those people have, from the time they get home on Saturday night, there's maybe 4 washing machines and 4 dryers in the little laundry room. And the amount of times we ended up doing our laundry at 3:00 in the morning, because like everything was full. There were people that would literally, like, the bus would pull up at night and they would run. Yeah, you're like, seriously? Like, not even a chance? Really? I mean, come on.
Like, before the bus doors open, everyone's like trying to be the first off, and so they were like pushing and shoving to get off so they can sprint to go and get their stuff and get a washer.
Some people would just have the quarters and they'd start the machine with no clothes in it, so that they could run back to their room and get their clothes and then put them in the machine. But it was, you're right, it was definitely, it was like the Hunger Games for washing machines. It was literally like...
I mean, 4 machines for like hundreds and hundreds of people, and everyone has to do it at the same time, like stupid idiots.
And also, Devonshire, at Kirby Gardens, it started out, maybe they had like 20 out of 100 apartments. And then they had 50, then they had 4, and then eventually they just had all of the apartments. But Devonshire was never like that. Devonshire was always a mix of just regular folks and then Sea Org members. And so these buses would pull up at 11, 12 o'clock at night, and then all these people would go crazy to do laundry. And the regular, like, it would be like Saturday night at, just a Saturday night. And you'd be like, wow, these people are very excited about getting off that bus and getting to those laundry machines. Because there would be hundreds of people trying to do their laundry with these machines.
I have dreams about this. It's so bad, about not being able to wash your clothes and not having all of your uniform parts ready.
Yep.
I mean, at Flag, you had to stay with your machine because people would steal your clothes because they didn't have enough uniform parts and they didn't want to get in trouble. You can't show up and not have a uniform part.
No.
It's a nightmare.
They would, you'd have to stay by your machine, because if you went away, you come back and like a couple of your shirts are missing or your pants are missing or something.
Or your whole load of laundry would just be on the floor. Like somebody would have been like, the machine is done. Schmucko's not here. Dump your shit on the floor and then put their stuff in.
Real.
And you'd be like, what? Or if you left it in the dryer, same thing. So you really had to bird dog that machine when it was gonna end. Otherwise, you're exactly right. If it didn't end up on the floor, it could just end up on somebody else's body the next day. You wouldn't even know what happened.
You have to start checking the tag behind the shirt.
Yeah, you're like, hey, those look like my BVDs you're wearing there. Those, I could see them hanging out of your pants. They're about a size or too big for you.
I I mean, it was like whatever works, because you had to be there. And we would do uniform inspections, like line up and get uniform inspections. And if you flunked, then your like pay is being held and all that. Not that you're getting any pay. And especially on Miscavige's birthdays or Christmas, he's shaking down the staff where you have to pay. You have to pay. They have a checklist and your name needs to be marked off on it.
I was the TRESEC, and we like sometimes Treasury Secretary. Sometimes we go for weeks or even sometimes months. We're given no pay to staff. All of a sudden, we would be told we have to pay that week. Like this is coming from in finance. You have to pay everybody that week. Why? Because it's Dave's birthday, and everybody has to be able to have money to give over to Dave so he can get his birthday present.
Yeah,
I remember at the base it used to be there would be a thing right next to the payroll officer. And they would give you your pay and they'd say, we're going to take out this much for Dave's present. Because they would, the PR, the public relations person from RTC would send a list of all the things Dave wanted to all of the orgs. And then each org had to pick from that list of which thing they were going to get. And because Golden Era had 300 staff, then he could get something expensive, but we all only had to put in, $10 or $15 or maybe $20 or whatever it was to get that thing. But for the orgs that were smaller, they had to give like 100 or 150. What did RTC do, Claire? How much did you put in for Dave's gift when?
Yeah, it was anywhere from, depending on the year, $40 to one time it was even like $200.
Come on. What a scam.
I mean,
right?
per the crew check, the list of all the staff, your name gets checked off, and if you don't pay, they chase you down. Everybody pays. And at Flag, it was usually $25 for Christmas for him and $25 for his birthday. And then the staff that had money that were like richer, they get shaken down for real money.
Yeah, I have a note from David Miscavige for one of the last presents that I gave him. I have a note from him that says, "Thank you, da 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 da." Because I figured out early on, instead of getting shooken down by Treasury, I would get him my own gift. And when they asked, I'd say, "Oh no, Claire and I got him something personally, something from us. So I'm not putting into this." And
did he like the eraser you got him?
No. Every birthday and every Christmas, I would send him a Depeche Mode CD. And I would be like, "Suck it. You're going to get this from me." And I would say, and on the one that has a note, I said, "Only 17 to go," because I had been getting them for him so often. And so I said, "Only 17 to go." And in the note back, he wrote, "Thanks for the gift, ? 17 to go, pounds?" Because he always accused me of being a fatty because I had a little bit of a gut. And I was like, what a dick. I give him a present and I say 17 to go. What does he think that means, pounds, genius? It means you're going to get 17 more Depeche Mode CDs and I'm not buying you anything expensive for the rest of time.
Oh my God.
Should have said, no, 17 inches and then you'll be 6 foot tall.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, what a joke. But yeah, and just so you guys know, this is just at the end base, and he's talking about Florida. All Scientology orgs play this game. All of them.
Yeah.
And if they don't have millions of people like they say they do, but they probably got 150 different places that he's getting a gift from on his birthday and Christmas in some instances.
Yep.
Because he's saving everybody in Scientology, and he's the only one expanding it. But so he gets all these presents, and the dude's making $300,000, $400,000, $500K a year from his salary at RTC. So he doesn't need any of those things. And what were we buying him? Camera lenses, underwater scuba gear, underwater photography gear,
motorcycle jacket.
Yep.
Yeah. Italian shoes. Like, it's just dumb shit.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Ugh.
Okay,
Well,
what's the next thing?
Here's another one. So because L. Ron Hubbard wrote most of his organizational policy in the 60s, the organization is stuck in the 60s. Like, for example, the wire basket system, beanstalks. I mean, they have these beanstalks with a label with everybody's name on them or job title or whatever. And then there's comm runners, communication runners, right? People who then take those handwritten dispatches and run them all over the property.
Yep.
And, people stamp on it, rush, hand route.
We call that sneaker net at the base. Instead of the internet, we had the sneaker net because people with shoes would run all of the messages between all of the people at the property. So he'd be like,
Exactly.
can you get that file over to Bill up the hill? Be like, yeah. You want me to sneaker net? Yep, sneaker net it up there. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, so they're so archaic, The other thing is like mailing lists, outflow equals inflow, or the size, not the quantity of the mailing, determines the gross income. This is an L. Ron Hubbard policy. So they don't come into the 21st century. Instead, they spend like $150,000 every single week
The FSO
to mail paper.
does $150,000 a week or more.
Yeah.
Well,
It's supposed to be 15% of your income. That's
and the funny thing is that they've been doing this, like you say, since the 60s. Like they have a video on their Scientology network where they set up a multi-million dollar printing facility when pretty much everybody's switching over to downloads and switching over to digital. They've just built a giant printing factory. And at the base, when you couldn't even buy film anymore, they completed a film processing lab at the property to process film. And you're just like, and when we went to DVD, it was when DVDs were no longer a thing and now everything was being downloaded and now everything's coming out on DVD. So they do this all the time. But with this printing thing, they really, I don't know how they're not going to do that because there's so many policies from L. Ron Hubbard that you got to have your org has to have a magazine that gets printed, and you have to send out promo. And I think somebody said it, now they're gone, but somebody said that Scientology sends out more mail than Bed Bath & Beyond. And I think they're right up until Bed Bath & Beyond went bankrupt. But yeah, Scientology will likely send out promo until the day they're done.
Yeah,
they're just totally stuck in the 1960s. The other thing that's interesting is very few Sea Org members actually go up the bridge. If it's like the answer to everything, why don't they? And it's because it takes resources, and so they're not worth it. All resources have to be on to external and doing, the work, not handling yourself, because you're not a case. You're OT as a Sea Org member already.
Yeah,
that's right.
By the code of the Sea Org member, you're expected to be and act as if you're an OT, whether or not you are, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, the definition of a Sea Org member, we define a Sea Org member the same way we do an OT, cause over matter,
cause
energy,
over life,
space, and time.
Space, time, and form.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about Chinese schooling?
Yeah, Chinese schooling is completely nuts.
They don't call that. They don't call that anywhere else too. We were in a chat before when we talked about Chinese school, and everybody was like, "What are you guys talking about?" Like it's not it might have been in the 60s or the 50s. It might have been a big thing, but you basically somebody, and we would do this at every single muster, like where all the crew were gathered up, at least at every single one of those. And sometimes you do it in the course room or you do it in other places as well. But somebody would hold up a giant, like, I'm trying to think, like a banner that had been handwritten of an L. Ron Hubbard policy. And it was usually in the person, like whatever area had to do the Chinese school, they had to pick the person who could write the best in that whole area, because the whole crew's going to have to read this and the letters are going to have to be giant. And it would say team. A team is a group of people that get along, and it would be the definition of a team. And they would say, team, what is it? And then the entire crew would have to chant that whole thing. And we would do it so much that they would say, okay, we're going to do Chinese school. We would do it. And then they would turn the thing around so you couldn't read it. Right. Or they'd put it down and say, okay, team, what is it? And then you'd have to read it even though it wasn't up there anymore. And if somebody was like said the wrong word or said something, it would be like, oh, because then that means everybody has to keep doing it. If one person doesn't know it, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, you would move your mouth with no sound coming out because you're like, I don't want to be the one that boofs it for today. Because if you boof it, that means we're going to have to read it for like another 2 or 3 weeks, every single muster. So it's like, okay, everybody, nobody better boof it on this thing. Okay. We've been doing this one for 4 months so far. And they would pick a new one, you know, knowledge reports or team or whatever it was, whatever the thing that Dave had a hair up his backside about at the time would what all the different organizations would have to Chinese school.
Yeah, in Religious Technology Center, we always did the 10 points of keeping Scientology working. Yes. And the purpose of the Inspector General Network and a bunch of other stuff. The outpoints, all the outpoints, all the forms of developed traffic. Oh my gosh, on and on and on. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, so on and on. But yeah, and the other thing is, why is this? If you're sick, you're restricted to the base.
Well, yeah, because you're a potential trouble source, and therefore, you know, you can't be trusted and relied upon. And also, isolation was on
the property.
It was on the property. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anytime somebody gets pissed at you, you get restricted to the base. I got restricted to the base all the time. All the time. And
Mark got restricted all the time. I got restricted a few times, but not, I mean, Mark spent probably 2 years stuck at the base.
At least. Yeah. That might even be a very low estimate. I mean, sometimes I was there so long, like, you know, if you got restricted to the property, usually it meant you were probably not going to go home for a week or two. I think there might have been 1 year I was restricted the entire year.
What the hell?
I had an apartment above a hallway in the Cine Castle. Like, it was an unfinished hallway that you couldn't even get up to. And I had like an apartment up there. I had an alarm clock and a sleeping bag, and it was like all set
cheating.
Up. Well,
I had to sleep at the swamp in that stupid trailer.
Sleeping on plywood with the sleeping bag is cheating.
It's all relative, folks.
Holy moly. But yeah.
Relatively dark.
But we were talking about this the other day at the base. In the early days, if you got restricted, it could mean just a few days. You know, you get out of, like you said, I'm out of here. And then they were like, what? And then they, you know, they put you on the list and you're like, no, I'm good. And then you could go home. But there was a little trailer over by, I'm trying to explain it in a way. Anyway, like if you were on your way to the swamp from the main property, there was a little trailer near the dentist office, and it was just like one of these little tow along trailers that could just fit a table, and it had like a little couch, and they would do auditing in there before Del Sol was turned into all the new auditing rooms and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And because it only was being used during the day, if you got restricted to the base, this was a really like a luxury spot.
Luxury apartment.
Because they had no, this thing was from 1962. They had no key to it. So they could only lock it from the inside if somebody was doing counseling in there. Otherwise, you know, you'd go over there at 11 o'clock at night and you'd be like, oh yeah, got a little, because it was enclosed, so you wouldn't get any bugs. And the table where they would do the counseling, that thing would fold up and it would turn into a bed there. And so you could have a nice little sleep in there. But if you went over there like at midnight and not 11, you go over there, or you go there like if you get off at 1, or you know, you finish whatever you're working on. Because if you're restricted to the property, it's also one of the things is like, well, now you don't have any travel time. So you can spend that time doing amends, or you can spend that time working to make up the damage to the group. And so you'd be doing that, and then you go over there at 1, and there'd already be somebody in there snoozing away. You could hear him snoring before you even open the door. You're like, God damn it, stole my spot. And then at 1:30 in the morning, you're kind of like, it's slim pickings by that time. All the good spots were taken. So when we built the castle in the late 90s, When we were building the building, I was casing that joint full time for good spots. So I knew all above the air conditioning systems. There was all these good places and the server room and all these different places. I was like, I got, no matter what, I'm locked up for spots. I'm good.
Man.
Yeah,
I
and
tell
then
you,
and then after Mark took off and I ended up in the hole, my spot was literally under my desk, on the floor, under my desk. If I think I had a sleeping bag that left much to be desired. It was probably a science project in and of itself, but that's a story for another day. So yeah,
And
there
plus
was that.
the ants there were out of control too, right?
Yeah.
In that little trailer. Yeah, they were out of control. Man, if I told you all the places I slept on that ant base, 20 years of being there and constantly being restricted and punished and sent to this and sent to that.
In the RPF in Los Angeles, when you came on the RPF, they gave you a piece of foam that's like 2 inches thick by like 24 inches wide by 5 feet long. And they take a big marker and they put your name on it. And that's what you slept on at night. And then in the morning, you would turn those in and they were all stuffed into a big storage closet. And then at night when you came home, they would pull them out. Pesh, you know, Scobie, you know.
They didn't even have cots?
No, you literally slept on that little piece of foam, which of course I'm over 6 foot. 5 foot piece of foam doesn't quite cut it.
Either feet and or head is hitting the dirt.
Yep.
Oh my
Yep.
god.
And you got a door, right?
Eventually, yeah. First we were sleeping in the course room for the kids that was across from Bridge at that one point.
Yeah, the
ATA.
ATA.
Yeah, the ATA.
I remember that.
We'd have all the men on one side, all the women on the other side. It's a hard floor. It's the school floor.
It was linoleum.
And yet, linoleum. So the snoring in there was like outrageous. We had this
how many people?
Guy, like 60, 70.
60, 70 people sleeping in one
giant
giant room.
Yep,
Wow.
and one
All
bathroom.
the smells that would live in that place.
And the snoring. God. Oh, we had this guy. He snored so loud. He had some kind of collar he would wear around his neck to try to prevent the snoring. He might as well had a silk scarf on. It did nothing. I mean, I literally, I just left that and I slept in the backyard on the dirt with my piece of foam because it was so noisy, so smelly inside that friggin' place.
One bathroom for 70 females and males, all stuffed in the same place.
And the females had to walk through the male sleeping area to get to that bathroom if they wanted to use the bathroom at night. And I can tell you, now people weren't covered very well in Los Angeles with the heat and stuff. And there was girls as young as 13 on that RPF.
That's so insane.
Wow. Crazy.
Yikes. I never knew that they all slept there too. We knew the RPFers went over there, but we didn't know what they were doing over there. We thought that was where their course room was or something. We didn't know what, but that's what just that big giant room, just everybody would sleep in there.
Yep. And then when we got kicked out of there at one point, we were sleeping in the parking garage.
In the garage itself.
So you would go into where all the renovation materials were stored.
Yeah.
And you would like find some way. Like I would take a couple of paint buckets, throw a door on top.
You're talking about the one you're talking about in Hollywood right now?
Yes.
The one on Fountain Avenue? That's where you guys would sleep in the parking garage.
Yes. We would, and then, yeah, and if you had to sleep during the daytime, you couldn't be in there because the public would see you when they came in. So you had to go down in the tunnels and sleep on the floor down in the tunnels.
Oh, the tunnels under the complex?
Yes.
Where the morgue was when it was a hospital?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It was when we were kids, I wasn't in the Sea Org, I was just a Scientology kid. But sometimes you could get down there. It was really hard if you didn't know how to get down to the tunnels because those tunnels went between all the different places.
Yeah.
And it's where the morgue used to be when that was Cedars-Sinai. And you could see the places where the crematorium was and this was like in the 80s where all of the refrigerators where they would put people, all that stuff was down there. And we would always think that it was haunted down there. You guys slept down there.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I got one time.
Listen to this, Mark.
I had been working around the clock and I was able to go. They said, you can go get a couple hours sleep. Right. So I said, okay. So I can't sleep in a parking garage during the daytime. So I go down into the tunnel and I lay on the floor to go to sleep. And I had just eaten a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. and I guess there must have been some on my mouth or something like that, because as I'm sleeping, a rat grabs
Oh.
onto my lip. This thing is on my lip.
While you're sleeping.
Yes. So I jump up. I have bare feet on. I don't have any shoes on. Barefoot. I stomped this sucker, and then I just laid down again and went back to sleep. I was so damn tired. And my lip got infected because no medical. I'm in the RPF.
Oh no!
I have to
That is
pull this up.
awful.
Somebody,
Oh my gosh!
somebody, Mark, you probably heard Matt snoring and thought it was haunted. That time you went down to sleep, we were hanging out in there as kids, and we thought it was
Oh, my
haunted.
Goodness! Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness, dude, that's crazy. Yeah, there
Could you
were.
imagine stomping a rat with your
Well,
bare
there was
feet?
all
No.
kinds of rats in the complex when we were
Oh,
there.
yeah.
It was
Oh, yeah.
it was
Oh, yeah.
when I was doing my what they call the kind of the boot camp for the Sea organization called the EPF, the Estates Project Force. We would clean the galley, the whole kitchen area. That's what the EPF or the RPF would do every single day as our work. And every time we cleaned in there, we would see rats. And we thought, this is where they make the food, right? Like,
Right?
there's
yeah.
rats every single day. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's never not rats. And in that place, what do they call it? The
Rat's
the
Alley.
VR
Rat's Alley.
the VRU,
Oh, okay.
the
I don't know what that
vehicle
is.
repair unit, where that
Yeah.
Oh,
where
yeah.
where all the dumpsters were,
Yeah,
and
where
where,
the
Oh.
dumpsters would be. Yeah.
yeah,
the
and there were
garbage.
rats there, and yeah, Rats Alley.
Bakery was full. The bakery was full of rats, man. You can look in there at night, look through the little window through the door. And
Oh,
there's
yeah.
Rats running all over the place.
Yes, every morning when we would come in to clean up, every morning when we would come in there, they would have made breakfast, and the EPF would come in, and every time we walked in, it would be like, oh, there was one. Like, you would see it because there would be like less people because everybody cleared out, and then as soon as the people left, the rats would know they had like a really quick window to get in there and get what they needed to get before people started to show up to clean.
Oh,
What
yeah.
about the amount of
Oh.
times there were infestations of weevils in the galley at Gold? And
Oh
they-
my goodness! In the
also
flour.
weevil.
In
and-
the flour, yeah.
Yes.
What's that?
Oh.
Bug.
What's a weevil?
It's like a teeny little bug thing. So
It
they
loo-
were
Oh.
using all those ingredients, and then they did an
Oh.
inspection, and they were infested with
Oh my
weevils.
Well, I'll tell you I'll tell you exactly what happened. Is that
Somebody's subject that they use the flour anyway?
no? They had run out of money for food one week, and so I remember to this day the guys the steward thought, well, we have these taco shells that we've had for ages. And we could figure out, we could get all the leftover meats and make like a turkey, beef, chicken kind of potpourri of taco meat. And so, but the taco shells were like 2 years old. So they drizzled
Get
all of,
rancid.
they drizzled olive oil all over the taco shells, and they put them in the oven for a few hours to see if they could rejuvenate them. And then they served those to the entire crew. It was this must go beef, because everything that was in the fridge that must go went into this beef. And then they took these rancid taco shells, and any bathroom on the property looked like a Disneyland ride. There was 100 people lined up at that bathroom to get in there to just destroy that toilet. And so many people got food poisoning that day.
Including
that
me.
Claire got it so bad. As soon as I
I've
walked
never
in,
been so sick my
Yeah,
whole
no.
life. Like
I-
literally, I'll be honest. It was so bad that I had already waited until the very last bus to go home because I couldn't stop throwing up, and a lot of other things too. And I literally threw up on the bus on the way home.
Yeah, it was- it-
really awful.
It was-
absolutely awful.
it was literally a shit show. And so what happened was the galley got investigated after, if one person got food poisoning, they probably would have got away with it. But like 450 people got food poisoning. So there was no getting around it. The galley guys were going to get lit up. And so when they went and they investigated the galley, one of the, I think it was like CMO Gold or whoever would go in there to do this sort of thing. They saw that there was a bug in the flour. They just saw one. And they was like, oh my God, this place is a filthy mess. There's a bug in there. Anyway, when they were going through the flour, there were thousands and thousands and thousands of these bugs. And they had been in there for so long. You know, when you're using flour, they just dump a new bag in and they use that bag.
Yeah,
but the bottom of the bin has the flour from 7 years ago. They weren't recycling it. And so all that flour was just
it wasn't last in, first out. It was first in, first out.
Anyway, I remember, I think it was like, I think I ate out of the canteen for like 2 months after that, because it was a 1-2 punch. It was the taco shit show. And then it went right into the, like, oh, there's been bugs in the bread for the last 10 years. Okay. I'm out.
Oh my
But we
God.
can buy Dave a $30,000 pair of Italian shoes.
Yeah.
But flour, no, that's too much. That's
Okay.
asking for it.
All right, so I'm going to change the subject now. Last week, we were sponsored by Fourth Wall, the preferred merch provider of SPTV. And amazingly, and we did the Goldie giveaway. And one of the people that Goldie chose decided to defer it to somebody else who needed it more, which I thought was amazing. So our new pick from Goldie is none other than Cosmic Christie. Thanks for
Yay.
watching, Cosmic
Nice.
Christie. Please go to the Blown for Good merch store and pick an item of your choosing up to $25. Send me an email with the link to that item and I will shoot you back a giveaway link. There you go. Thank you, Fourth
That is
Wall.
so awesome. I did a mission at the in the galley at the int base because I see somebody's got pictures of roaches all over in their comments.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, but yeah, because they flunked their health inspection and needed to be shut down, and so we had to set up a temporary.
Where was this?
The whole galley, the whole of MCI.
Oh, at the base, they failed
at the base.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the health department
Yeah.
showed up and then they flunked.
And it was total flunk.
Wow.
And so they had to be totally shut down. The dining room, everything, the whole place. And so we set up the galley for 700 people in this little trailer and a tent for everybody to come and sit outside and go through their buffet in a tent. Okay. And meantime, the wind blows in the desert and the sand was in every dish,
I remember that. That was in the early 90s.
Well, no, we did it a couple times. The one that I did was probably 85.
Oh, they did
wow.
the same thing in the 90s when they moved the dining room out into that grassy area right outside where we would muster.
Yeah,
I didn't remember.
That was for a new renovation.
Okay.
Yeah. The other one was for flunking the health codes and stuff, and we had to do a whole number. And, and we couldn't get enough food out of this little teeny trailer for 700 people in time. And the line went across the highway down trying to get food to everybody. Anyway.
Oh my
God.
gosh.
It was a nightmare. But,
Yikes. Yeah, we're going to have to do some, somebody's saying this in the chat, says, I will never unsee Matt and the Rat. I think we need some Matt and the Rat merch.
I know. Ever since then, I have the Rat in the Kitchen song running through my head. I just can't get it out. Yeah.
In the kitchen.
Rats and the weevils in the flour. Oh my.
Rats in the tunnel. What am I going to do? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Always, like in the Sea Org, they're always putting people under watch. Like, how many times was I under guard in a quote unquote church? I'm under guard. I'm there. My life is yours. I'm working my guts out. Maybe I messed up. Maybe I didn't do something to your satisfaction, but I was always being put under guard.
Mm-hmm.
What is that freakiness?
Do you remember at the Int base I want to say it was in the early 90s when they established the quartermaster system at berthing?
Yeah.
So on a ship, the Sea Org is patterned off of it being on a ship. And even though they're every single Sea Org installation except for the Freewinds on their cruise ship is a land operation. But when you walk up the gangplank to the ship and you get on, there's a person there called the quartermaster, and they log you onto the boat. And then when you leave, they log you off of the boat. So they know who's on the boat. So they had this system at the international base at the berthing. So because what was happening was we would work at the international base, the property in Gilman Hot Springs, but then at night at 11 or 12 or 1 or whatever at night, you'd go to your apartment building, the Kirby Gardens, or you'd go to the Devonshire, and during the night people would escape. They would just call a cab or walk into town and get a bus or whatever. They would just escape. So they figured out, well, we have to stop this. We're bleeding out staff. They're escaping in the middle of the night from these apartments. And so what they decided to do was have a QM system, and every single male in Golden Era Productions, the higher organizations did not have to do this, but all of the gold staff, if you were male,
I remember this.
At least one night a week, you would have to do QM. And so they just divvied it up, and there was a list that was printed and sent out, and every male was on the list, unless you were like an executive in gold. But all the run-of-the-mill people had to do it, and
it was at every location.
Well, they had to. This is how it started, because there was a progression. First, It started at each apartment building. There was one person all night who would be the QM. And it was one guy started at Kirby and one at Devonshire. And then it didn't take very long at all for the QMs to start escaping. So the QMs were there to make sure no one else escaped. And if that person was married to somebody and they were thinking of escaping, then the QM would basically tell his wife, hey, I'm the QM tonight. This is our chance. And then they'd hightail it out of there, because he's the one who's supposed to make sure no one escapes. So then what did they do? Then they had to make it 2 QMs at every location, so that one QM could watch the other QM. And so that no matter what, they'd both be there. And then what would end up happening is, inevitably during the daytime, the QMs would stay there all night and watch everybody, but then they would sleep at berthing during the day. And then they'd come in on the dinner bus, work for a few hours, and then just go back onto the regular day schedule. So what ended up happening was then the QMs that were sleeping during the day, supposedly, then they started escaping. Mm-hmm. So then they had to have 2 day QMs that would just be there during the day to watch any of the night shift people or the QMs from them escaping. And so it got to a point where every single day there were 8 people that weren't on their jobs, because they needed to make sure that none of us escaped. And almost the major way to escape was if you were a QM. That would be because the QMs at night, one would sleep. They would usually sit in a car in front of Kirby, or they'd sit in someone's car. Like they'd say, hey, we're going to be on QM watch tonight. Can we sleep in your car? Can we sit in your car? And the car would be parked right at the way you would come in and out of the apartments. But there was also 2 driveways. So sometimes the QMs would just be sitting in the car asleep. Mm-hmm. And you could just drive out the gate and you just leave, and you'd be like, who cares about the QMs? Anyway, it was so ridiculous. But I think in my book, don't I tell part of this in my book about the QM system?
Yes.
If I didn't, I wrote it. I don't know if it's in there, but
yep, you did.
But yeah, QM.
Oh,
I don't know how.
I don't know all about that.
Yeah, I don't know how they thought it was going to stop, but eventually now everyone that works at the property, the international headquarters, they live at the property, because that was, for many, many years, just the fact that the berthing was not at the property was the main way people were sneaking, because you could just jump over the back wall of the apartments and end up in the auto repair place and then just walk out that way. There's no way they could cover the entire perimeter.
Yeah. I mean, one of the points of human trafficking is if people work and sleep within the same compound. I mean, that's A lot of people don't know that that's why Golden Era Productions was shut down.
A lot of people don't know that. When Claire and I sued them for human trafficking, the main point that lights them up is if you work somewhere and you make something that is for sale and your employer keeps you, that you sleep in that same place, that's top of the list for this is probably human trafficking. And so they
Especially
weren't
razor wire.
Yeah, razor
they
wire
weren't allowed
around it.
they weren't allowed to make e-meters, make printed materials, CDs, DVDs, anything that you sell. If you're living there, that's it. You're done. It's over.
Yep.
So that's a big reason why all of those things moved to Los Angeles. And also because Dave had been saying we were the biggest SPs of the universe for, 20 years. So it was like he had threatened it. I want to say the entire 15 years I was there, he was threatening to move everything to either Clearwater or move everything to Hollywood for the entire time that I was there.
Yep.
Right.
Even
Absolutely.
RTC, he had threatened RTC that he was going to move that to Clearwater. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to get
and
rid of all you
disband
shitty.
everybody. Oh yeah, he threatened every 5 seconds to disband us.
Yeah, the
send us to
only thing that
wherever.
ever came out of his mouth were threats.
I know. Yeah.
It was never like, hey guys, you did a really good job yesterday. Just want to tell you that. None of that.
No.
Hey, Laura
I did
FM
get
in the
it. I
house.
did
Hey,
get-
Laura.
Hey, Laura. I did get a few commends. I had a whole thick folder of commendations from David Miscavige, and
Oh,
that
look
was
at
obviously
you.
confiscated.
Oh, you want
Yeah.
to hear something?
Yeah.
When I got the commend from Miscavige about how Treasury was power quality,
Mm-hmm.
the next day somebody was trying to take staff out, right? The chief officer of CMO, Marc Nelson, was in there trying to take some of my staff away. So I grabbed him and I drug him out of Treasury and I threw him into the hallway and I locked the door so he couldn't get back in, right? So he runs upstairs. He grabs the captain, flag service organization, Debbie Cook, to come down and handle me that, I had just thrown him out of the Treasury and all that. So I said, I just got the command yesterday from, how I had the perfect division and this guy's trying to tear it up. And I could see Debbie didn't really want to tell me, but she said, as we walked out of Treasury, Dave turned to his staff and said, the place is fat, tear some of the staff out of there.
Wow.
Yes. Because it violates so many policies about unmarking work installation and all that kind of stuff.
He said after he had written saying you guys are awesome, then he went.
Yeah, he's shaking my hand and getting a picture taken with me and all that kind of stuff. He walked out the door, turned to his staff and said, tear that place up.
Wow. Crazy.
That's 2 more pins
That's
for you.
typical.
Yeah. Here, honey, hit him.
That was my report on that thing.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Oh my goodness. There was another thing I thought of and I can't remember it now when Amy, you were talking about the galley and all that nonsense. There's so many things. Like even when you would eat a meal, they had really nice chairs and really nice tables and really nice dinner, whatever you call it, dinnerware. What do you call that? Plates.
Yeah.
It was like
Silverware and all that. Yeah.
it was all
Trappings,
matching.
All the trappings.
It was all matching. It was a special thing that they had that would go through their dishwashers and all that good stuff. But there was a price list where you bust. So you would go in. It was sort of like buffet style. You would have everything laid out and you would dish up your plate or you dish up a platter and bring that to your table and then everybody would take off the platter. But then when you were done eating, you would scrape all your food off. You'd put your plate in the plate thing and your bowls in the bowl thing. But if you broke a dish, that's on you. So, but one of these plates was like $19. So if you broke a dish, you were like, damn, that's half a week's pay. And I think they had it up there as just like, take it easy. Like, don't break this stuff. But also, you knew you were paying for a dish if you broke it. It was sort of like, oh, man.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Only in Scientology and the C organization does staff have to pay for things that they break during the course of their job. Like, it's just an expected, guaranteed fact. Doesn't matter how much the item is, you're paying for it. If you broke it, you're paying for it.
Yeah, we had that in manufacturing too, right? Did you guys have to ever pay when you were in HEM, right, Amy?
Yeah.
So HEM was the Hubbard Electrometer Manufacturing.
Yeah.
If you broke stuff up there, did they make you pay for it, or if there was waste or something happened? Did you guys ever get billed up there in HEM?
I didn't have anything like that while I was there.
But you were
I
like
didn't see that.
logistics, right?
Well, I was circuit board assembly.
Oh, you were in, was it that when they had wire, the wave solder line?
Wave
Or,
soldering line. But we
yeah,
didn't use the wave soldering line. We only turned it on when Tom Cruise was coming through to make it look like really official. Yeah.
nice. Yeah. So,
We didn't use it though.
well, they had this machine that would make a bed of solder, and then you'd load all the circuit boards with all the little resistors and all those little goodies.
Sisters.
And then it would float. The boards they would float through the solder, and then that's how everything would get connected. But you could only do that if you were making thousands and thousands of these boards. If you were going to make 10 boards, it would literally, this
stupid.
machine would take 10 hours to warm up. So you'd have to turn it on the night before if you wanted to use it.
It had a whole room. It had a whole room for that stupid machine. We never used it.
They made that into the systems office in the end.
Oh, okay.
That was my office when I escaped. The wave solder room was my office. That was the only reason I wanted to talk about it. But yeah, they would build in tapes manufacturing right below you guys. If we broke a pancake, that was $30.
Ugh,
and we would break pancakes, a few a week at least. And it was just like, we figured it out over the years that the tension on the tape, if it was loose, the pancakes would break. These big reels of tape would break real easy. And if they were tight, they wouldn't. So you could like smash them down on the machine and thread it up and nothing would happen. But if it was loose and you did that, it would just fall right off the reel. And once it fell off, it was ruined. You couldn't put it back. But we figured out, it's the tension. We're getting a bad batch of tension tape here from TDK. We lost 4 pancakes today. And it would just be like, no, that's not on me, man. But it took us years of paying for them ourselves to figure this out. Because we were like, we got to figure this out. We're never going to get paid for the rest of the time if we keep breaking these things every week.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's totally ridiculous. The other thing that was similar to the QM, the quartermaster, is that in the Sea Org, you've got what's called a WQSB. It's a watch quarter station bill. And what that is it's everyone has your assigned post job, but then you also have another assignment, which even though I was in the watchdog committee, I was on the WQSB for electrical. So if the power went out on the base, I was to run to the generator. I was, to go around and turn off all the power, and all this kind of stuff. So that was my job on the WQSB board. And, I don't know, were you on the WQSB?
Well, everybody was on every single person at the base was on a WQSB for their organization. And they just, if there was all these drills, which the WQSB would be initiated for. So if there was a blow drill, you had to go to a certain station. If there was a security drill, like if there was an SP on the highway, then every certain person had a thing. If there was a power outage and there was no power on the property, we would have to do a security drill as well, because not only did they have to get the power back on, but the security fences weren't energized. So a bunch of the male staff had to go like 100 yards from each other all the way around the entire perimeter. But each thing, I think if there was a flood, we had a WQSB for flood, fire, earthquake, blow, security, intruder. I want to say Gary Jackson would know all of them because that was his job, is to make sure everybody knew what their WQSB was on certain things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that place literally was like random access central. If you weren't building a building or on QM watch at Kirby
or watching the levee to see if it was flooding 24/7.
Yeah. Or doing an all hands, whatever Dave was freaking out about at the time. Like we're all either making tapes or we're all delabeling tapes because all the tapes that we made were all bad. So now we have to take all the labels. When cassette tapes, the industry of manufacturing that made cassette tapes early on decided that the most expensive, time-wasting way to make a cassette is to put a label on it. You just print right onto the cassette, the label. And then that way there's nothing to peel. There's nothing to put crooked. It just goes on nice. Nope, not Scientology. It took them until CDs were a big thing for them to decide, hey, you know, we could just print the label right on the cassette. And it was like, what? But so there was when I first got to the property, there was 300,000 OP cassettes that were made in the tapes manufacturing area. And
Which
we had
you
to
mean
peel.
overt product, meaning they weren't acceptable quality.
Yeah, overt products.
Right.
And that and so we had to peel every single one of those labels off of both sides of 300,000 cassettes. Holy moly.
Usage of personnel, right?
Yes. Crazy, crazy. Well, I say we do another giveaway and then answer some questions before we wrap up for the week, folks. How
That's a
about
great
that?
idea.
Otherwise, we're going to be here
Sounds good.
all night.
Okay, good. Okay,
All right.
so what are we giving away now?
We'll do another Blown for Good paperback signed by Marc and Claire. And then if you want to do one after that, Amy, we can do that. It's totally up to you.
Yes.
All right,
Okay,
honey,
there's
you
the Blown for
pick.
Good book
Oh,
there.
look at Amy. You're
I know.
amazing. Yes.
Overlays. She's really
Yes.
got the overlays
baby.
games on tap.
Yep, absolutely.
gotta
Okay,
do
you
that.
pick, honey.
I pick?
Yep.
Okay. Let me see. What are those books? Those really Will Durant. I just got a Will Durant book over here. I'm just gonna paw through. What is somebody wants a book? A book. Flippity, flap, flap, flap. I like this one right here. Puck-a-chow. Clearly suppressive. Book me,
Clearly
please,
nice.
you wonderful, gorgeous SPs.
Wow.
Oh, that's
nice.
amazing.
See, if you want a book and you throw in a nice compliment and you have a good screen name, that might be in your favor. Just saying. Clearly suppressive,
so-
whoever you are. Make sure you email Claire at blownforgood.com and she will send you a signed copy of Blown for Good.
Yes.
Awesome.
definitely. Thanks to everyone
So
participating.
Now my book. So I'm going into the comments here. You want to pick it, honey?
Nope, you go.
Okay. Okay. So just say book me if you want my book signed by Matt and I. Okay. Because I don't know if these book me's are for Marc's book or not. So I'll have to count down from 100. I'd love Amy's
Oh.
book, please. Prayer request now. I saw your
Nice.
little beautiful. Yeah, so send me an email, amy@scobie-publishing.com with your address, and I'll get a book sent to you right away.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do
So
we
now
have-
I'm going to go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
I was just
gonna
going to say,
into-
do we have anything else we need to cover before we do our Q&A for the week?
No, I've got a bunch more, but we can do that. Save that for another time.
Yes, there we go. Perfect.
Yes. Okay, so let's go into the stars. Okay, so
All right, Davi Day. I just got my 2 Captain Poopy Pants in the mail. One is for my cat, Charlie. Charlie started by clawing his face. Charlie knows. Love the dolls.
Nice.
Charlie knows. That's amazing. Donna Rose. Howdy from DM's lair. Got the little fella hogtied and watching SPTV. Give him hell. Nice. Thank you, Donna Rose. We
Nice.
appreciate you. Kaz Fern's in the house. Oh, and happy National Taco Day
It's
to
not
everyone.
National Happy
I know.
Taco
So
Day.
Amy and Matt, we have to tell you this story.
okay.
So usually when Marc and I are on a live, obviously we have 3 kids. So we have to we get our oldest to pick up fast food or anyway. This morning I was talking with my youngest and I was like, I know, let's do tacos. And that way the whole bar can just be laid out and you guys can eat tacos to your heart's content while we're doing the live. So sitting here, my middle son sticks his head in the door. He's like, Mom, are you live? I'm like, no. He's like, Mom, did you know it's National Taco Day today? we haven't had tacos in what, like a year, 2
I know.
years?
When you
I don't
said
even know.
I was like, "There's no way it could be Taco Day today," and
Yes.
it literally is National Taco Day
Is
today.
Taco Day.
We have
today.
tacos upstairs, and I told my Int-based taco story.
I thought that they said that because of your taco story.
Oh my goodness. It really is. I'm looking at all the national taco things and they're all from like 5 to 8 hours ago. It really is National Taco Day. Who knew?
Who knew? All right. Maria de Jesus Gutierrez. Good to see you here. I love that Mark has a buddy to tell stories with. Oh, that was about Mitch.
Yes. Well, I mean, Mitch was really there for at least 10 of the years that I worked at the Int base. I worked in and if not with Mitch every single day, I'd see him, multiple times a week and we would work out stuff. So, it's good also because of a lot of people are like, why are we telling these stupid stories about the films? We're just trying to document everything because that is the exact thing that Scientology doesn't want people to do, is put all the pieces together. So when you find out that there's these 26 films that Scientology has spent tens and tens of millions of dollars making, and has made
hundreds of millions,
and they've made them multiple times over. Like some of these films have been made 5 times over, and it's because the main reason, the first ones that were shot by Hubbard were just shite. But besides them being crappy, every single one of these films has people that were declared suppressive persons in them. It's just every single one. So they have to keep redoing them because this guy murdered somebody, or this guy got arrested for assault, and this guy. So it literally, one of the films that they had never redone that Mitch talked about was the doll film. That was one of the films that they just were like, no, we can just leave that one. It's good. But now the main character is Danny Masterson, and I am the savior of the movie. I'm the messenger who comes in and sec checks and busts the bad guy and all that good stuff. So that film's got double power right now for them to redo it. But so we're just trying. We're trying to document everything. And if it's not the best YouTube content, then fine. If you like hearing about film stuff and you like hearing about crazy Scientology stuff, it might be right up your alley. But
it's fantastic that it's being documented. Absolutely needs to happen. So, and I think it's very, very interesting.
Yep.
So it's good. Yeah.
Barbara Bell, super sticker. Thank you, Barbara Bell. We appreciate it. Kathy Ann, happy birthday week, Queen Bee. I've seen a lot about Biddy, Sterling's mom, lately. Did you four know her well while in? Keep dismantling. Yes, I think we all knew her. All knew her. In fact, absolutely. I remember the day that Ronnie Miscavige came to the villa of RTC Religious Technology Center and dropped off his letter to Dave. After which they were locked in their villa, and they're like, "We're staying here until you let us out of here."
They literally said, "We're not coming out of this villa until you've got it all set for us to leave," and that's it. And it was like a showdown. Like, I think it went for a few days, right?
Yeah, if not longer, maybe a week.
I know.
I remember it was like a big deal at the time.
Crazy.
Yeah, like nobody did that.
It was amazing. And when they were gone at the end of that, it was like.
Yeah, the wheels started turning. You're like, wait a minute. Yeah,
because people were jumping trying to get all that stuff arranged so that they could leave. But I worked with Biddy for years, for a long time. We did CC projects together. She worked in the Watchdog Committee when I was there. We worked together for a long time. I know her very well. And I hope to have her on my channel. Maybe we'll do on all things Scientology. And if not, then maybe I'll have her on my channel or something. But I definitely want to talk to her. There's a lot of history there.
Absolutely. Nice. Me too.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that.
John Zatowski in the house. Amy, expect something from Uranus soon.
Honey, I don't know what that means.
It's the chocolate. It's the chocolate.
I'm kidding. Thank you, John.
Oh my gosh. Okay then. Beachy Tara of SPTV Community Order of Escape. Were any of you aware of each other's leaving? What were your thoughts about escapees at the time? Love you all, Fave 4. Awesome. That's a really great question.
Yeah.
So I think
You
Mark,
know,
of us four, I think Mark was first, I was second, and then Amy and Matt, you were shortly
We
after
left
that,
it
right?
on March 1st. What day did you leave?
January
January
24th. So
Okay.
Mark was Mark was January 4th, 2005. I was January 24th,
Yep.
2005.
Okay, and we were March 1st, 2005.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though is that I used to read. There was a message board that was called Operation Clambake, and it had a message board on it, and there was a ton of ex-Scientologists and ex-Sea Org members that would write stuff on there, but they all had code names. Nobody knew who they were. And I used to read these stories on there. They were called Little Dicky. Was it Little Dicky?
Yeah. The Little
Bedtime
Dicky
stories.
bedtime
Little
stories.
Dicky bedtime stories. I used to read that, and I never knew who wrote it, but I knew that they were real because I was there when a lot of these things happened, and so there was a lot of us that would post on there. But then later on, I found out it was Matt and Amy that were writing those and putting those on there.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
I'm going to
And
be
that's
doing
where I would post-
readings of those, by the way,
What's
and
that?
giving the back. I'm going to be doing readings of those. There were 15 of them.
Nice.
Yeah, videos that read each bedtime story and give the backstory of how that one came to be. So
Yeah.
that'll be fun to do too.
Yeah, to answer
This
the
has a-
last part of that question, what were your thoughts about escapees at the time? Personally, I tried not to think about it because it was just always it was like, I don't know, two different worlds. Unless it was somebody that I was having to help bring back or something like that. It was, I don't know, cognitive dissonance, just try not to think about it.
Yeah.
Things changed on that. Like back in 1978, when they were doing the renovations of the big blue building in LA, they had guards stationed at the doors and stuff because people were were just taking off because they weren't getting any sleep. They were on a work 30 on, 3 off, 3 hours sleep for 30 hours of work. And so many people were taking off. Nobody even hardly kept track of who was leaving. And then when I got up to the international base, when people would take off, they didn't get declared. We just put a little note into their folder saying that the guy took off, he blew, so that if he ever came back to Scientology, he'd have to do some amends and stuff like that. But it wasn't like a big deal. We didn't hunt them down and stuff like that, which they did later. I mean, Jackson talks about that he hunted down and brought back over 200 staff from international base.
Like they would. I mean, there was a whole drill of people that would just track that person down. They could not be allowed to escape without a blow drill going into effect. And if there was any way to get them back, you were to do it, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's crazy.
So it's
Madness.
definitely a
So, but
changing
you
thing.
guys, but to answer the person's question, Matt was already in Florida by the time we got to the Ant base.
Yeah.
And he had worked there, but then he had gone to Florida. Amy was at the Imp base for a lot of the time that we were there. And then I want to say in the early 2000s, you were sent to the RPF, like 2003.
2003.
Yeah. Okay, good. So 2003, you then went to the RPF. So as far as Claire and I were concerned, you guys were already gone, especially if you go to the RPF. We're never going to see you again unless we're in Florida shooting a video or doing an event, and then we might see that person. And if that person went to the RPF at Flag, you're not like, when you see them again after 10 years, you're not like, hey, dude, what's up? High five. You need to be like, take it easy there. You're a lower life form now. I'm not supposed to talk to you.
I was the lowest life form.
But the crazy thing though is like I didn't have a lot of interaction with Amy the times I was there, but I was never a dick to Amy. So, and I didn't even ever know Matt unless we went to Florida to do something. Everybody knew Matt in Florida, but I never even knew that he was at the Imp base when I saw him.
I didn't know that either. That I didn't know, Matt, that you had been there. I
I knew
you at Flag.
Security chief.
Yeah, no,
He was a
I
security
knew that he had because people told me, oh, that guy used to be there. And then he got sent to the RPF. And so when you're at the Imp base, the other Imp base guys will tell you when you go somewhere like that, it'd be like, yeah, just so you know, that guy used to be at the base. So if he says something, because sometimes somebody might say something that would appear off color if they're just a regular Joe Schmo's Joe Schmo staff member. But if they've been to the Ant Base, they might say something that would indicate that they'd been to the Ant Base.
Yeah.
But when we left and we started meeting up with each other, like when we would have these SP parties in 2006, we would invite, any SP we could track down, we'd track them down and be like, hey, just so you guys know, we're the smart ones. And it turns out we're the smart ones of the bunch. And we would joke around and tell stories like this. And I would always joke that this would make a great show, is if somebody just recorded us telling these stories. And eventually that's essentially what we're just doing. But we were perfectly friendly with each other, even though we didn't really have any main history, or we didn't have a lot of backstory. I know you and Claire did stuff together when you were in WDC, and she was in RTC. But yeah, we got along like a house on fire. Same thing with like Mike, and it was like, okay, whatever. Because there's not a lot of people out there like us.
Right.
I know.
It's a small handful that you would be able to be like, oh yeah, remember we worked in that prison place for a decade? Drank Panther piss and slept on a little 2-inch piece of foam for 5 years. Yeah, good times, man. Good times.
You know what's funny? I was on the RPF with Mike Rinda in
Really?
Los Angeles. Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What year was that?
84.
Wow.
Yeah. And Kathy Rinda was on the RPF with us too.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And
Fun,
Bill
fun.
Dendu and a whole bunch of people. It was a zoo.
I was Bill Dendu's twin on the RPF. I got sent to the RPF's RPF because I didn't handle him on being a joker and degrader when he was a comedian by profession before he joined the Sea Org.
That's what Bill Dendu did before he joined the Sea Org?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
When Bill Dendu and I would get together, it was like a full-time party.
That would be fun.
We
That would be
literally just went back and forth. It was he was the funnest dude when we had a project that we had to do for him, because he didn't give an F about anything. He just did what he wanted, and he did his own thing. And as long as, all the work got done, it was like, see, this is the way to do it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure, isn't he the one that literally rammed the security gate with his car?
Yeah, he
to try and
drove.
get out.
I think he drove. I think it was an Alfa Romeo Spider. He had this little red Alfa Romeo? Is it Alfa Romeo? I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure he drove it through the gate when he escaped, and I think his face got all cut up. Another story that Jackson would 100% know.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
very definitely.
Yep.
Maybe Jackson and I should do a series on the ways people escaped.
That would be a
great.
great.
Yeah.
That would be a
That
great
would
one.
be a good one.
Yeah,
Very
Because
much.
there's a lot of good ways.
there are.
And if you're in the Sea Org watching
many
this,
ways.
yeah, click like and subscribe. Maybe you'll get to see it.
Yeah. For new ideas on how to escape, tune in next week.
Because we all made it. We made it.
Yep, and it's
You
free
know-
to subscribe, by the way.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
subscribe.
that's right. I starred a bunch of those comments because there's a thing on X where if you subscribe to somebody, you have to pay. It could be $1 a month, could be a $2.50, could be $50 a month, depending on what that content is, that person. On YouTube, it is completely free to subscribe.
Yeah.
There's no payment. There's no monthly anything. You just say subscribe. And the only thing that does is when you go into YouTube, if we've done a video, then it'll tell you this is our latest video. And if
And your
we're doing a
notification-
video live, it'll tell you, hey, these guys are doing a live video right now if you want to watch it.
Yeah.
That's the only, but the thing is, it helps us because the more people that subscribe, the more people YouTube recommends the video to that are like you and watch the same videos you watch. So that's what it's for. And, it helps out the channels a lot if you do that. And liking the videos helps, and commenting in the videos help. And that's why we try to answer questions when we do these.
Yep.
Very true.
This is my please subscribe banner.
Oh yeah, look at that.
ESP and
We can do questions. Well, you can just let that go and we can still do questions.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
Going over to the comments here. Blah blah blah. Here we go.
All right. Ideal Borg, aka COB Elf. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much.
And Lisa Gillespie, happy 60th Amy, a big one. So glad you're out to enjoy the next level of life. My husband turned 60 on the 1st. Such a milestone. Hello, SPTV gang. Yay.
Hello, Lisa.
Yay. Thank you,
Hello.
Lisa.
Bota 2960. We need to know your skincare routine. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. I have secrets, major secrets.
Let me check the video. See what he said.
Ms. Reuptake inhibitor. Happy birthday blessings, Amy. And
Okay, honey, be quiet so I can hear what
Are
they're
you
saying.
running out of starred ones over there, Claire?
No,
no. Amy's
I'm doing
You-
it.
You want to take over from her, honey?
No.
No. I just didn't know if the same ones I was seeing are the same ones she's seeing. But now that I see this one, we're good.
Okay, Laura Font. How do I get a Davy doll? I didn't get an email. So sorry about that. Excuse me. Please shoot me an email, claire@blownforgood.com. We do have another link going out tomorrow before they officially go on sale at the spshop.com on Friday. So if you shoot me an email, I will get you that link right away. Sorry that you fell through the cracks.
Yeah, we only have a fixed amount of these things. I mean, this thing has been in the works. Like I said, Amy said she watched the video. I think it was probably 4 months ago when I thought of this idea.
a long time ago.
So it took a long time to get, almost 3,000 of these things. What is it? 2,500, I think we have. I don't know how much. I think it's about 2,500. But but that once they're done, they're done. I don't think we're going to make this unless they sell it in a day. Then maybe we'll make some more.
And just
That's
a
why
reminder, all proceeds will be
I
going to
started
the
this.
Aftermath Foundation. Oh, Stephen Britton. I'm trying to pre-order a Captain Chuckles doll, but don't know where to go. Shoot me an email, Stephen.
Yeah.
I will get you a link right away. The link will go live at the spshop.com. It's currently on there. It's just hidden. So only people with the link can order. We did send out samples to all SPTV contributors and creators who asked us to send them to them. We sent all of those out even like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I think, honey. So I know I've started to get messages from people
I think at least
those.
half of them have gotten them. And the people, obviously the people that are further away from us, it might take a few extra days, but we did send them at least 7 to 10 days ago. We've sent pretty much all of those to all the different channels.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome.
So
This one's going to have to do an inspection of Flag in the next day or two. I'll get pictures of him.
nice.
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh, that's the other thing. If you
Yes.
guys got them as part of the pre-order, send us pics. You can go to the blownforgood.com. You can submit pics. We can submit pics right now, right?
Yes, absolutely.
you can
At
take
blownforgood.com. Maybe we'll do a series leading up to Christmas or something. Instead of Top 10 Tuesday, it can be Davy Elf on the Shelf Tuesday or something, and we can share viewer pics or something. That would be kind of fun.
Borg at the org. Troll on the dole, and you can just show him like just in the dumpster near every single Scientology organization.
Yes, Ms. Reuptake inhibitor. COS ministry van spotted in Buckhead, Atlanta, ATL Atlanta this week. Is that Atlanta? I think so.
Yeah.
Not sure. Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
I think it is.
ATL.
Yeah.
ATL Atlanta. Yep.
Yeah, they have those
Ministry
yellow
van like
vans that they bought, and they those things, they're the most ugly color. Whenever you see one, I've seen a bunch that used to be Scientology ones, and they sold them.
Oh no.
And so you can see the outline of wherever their logo and stuff was that they took off. And I always laugh when I see one of those things. I'm like, I know there's not a lot of those things floating around.
Yeah.
Kate Friend, Amy, I'm so very happy for your birthday. I just had the melancholy thought that my sister-in-law, who passed unexpectedly last Friday at about 39, won't get that far. Keep your loved ones close, folks. Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss, Kate.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for, oh goodness. Okay. Lots of love to you.
Yes, love and support.
Yeah.
OBG Foster, question, how many people whose names begin with M are left in the Sea Org?
Yeah. Not very many, right?
Well,
Yeah.
also Mark's just in general, because Matt's name, let's not forget, Matt's name is not Matt. It's Mark. His name is Mark. And at the base, you had to take on a pseudonym, right? Is that why you took on the name? Or were there just too many
everybody had
Marks?
to have a fake name. originally at the int base.
Which is
So-
how Gary Moorhead, we all call him Jackson, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
Another living example of
All
that.
of the people that are real int base old school, they didn't go by their real names. And that's why Marty is called Marty. Marty's name is also Mark. So they have a big problem. I mean, if your name is Mark, you should just be an SP right off the bat. They should just be like, nope, not doing it. And there's 2 SPs at the int base that Dave Miscavige has been calling SPs the entire 15 years I was there, and that's
Oh.
Mark Yeager and Mark Ingber.
Yes.
Wow, that's so
And then
true.
there's Mark Ginga Nelson, also an SP. I mean,
Yes,
there's
I can hear it now.
Fleischer.
I can hear it now. Dave Miscavige was like, "That's it. New personnel policy. No Marks can come to this property."
yeah, Marcus
Ever.
Swanson. His name's Mark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's so many Marks that literally came and went from that place.
true.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Crazy. All right, Jazzy J. No, sorry, Japan of Green Gables, Mark and Claire, that's our real names, just to answer that question that caught my attention. Jazzy J, question, what are your thoughts about the IES event coming up at St. Hill? Yes, we are going to be talking a lot about that in the coming days, so hit that bell notification and stay tuned for
We
more to
have
come.
plans.
We will give you all of our download on it.
We have a special project planned for the IAS event. Scientology, mute your video right now. We're going to do something for the IAS event that's going to blow everybody's minds.
Epic. Absolutely epic.
That's
Okay, Scientology, you can listen again if you were listening.
Yep. All right, Osa, keep taking notes now. Alanya J. I made alive, my favorite ex-Scientologist. You are all wonderful humans. Love your work. Thank you.
Okay.
Look at my little dog is not little anymore.
Oh my God, he's gigantic.
I know.
Oh,
I told you guys, if you keep feeding that thing, it's going to keep getting bigger. That's how they work.
And we realized that he's a doxy poo and not a Yorkie poo.
I guess so. Well, that's when he started getting bigger than he was supposed to get. You're like, I think we might have got the wrong dog here. You know, when you get one of those dogs and they say it's not going to get any bigger than, 12 pounds or whatever. And when the thing's like 67 pounds, you're like, that dude totally sold us a bad bill of goods.
Oh gosh. Anyway, he just got his little grooming.
Yeah.
Little,
Oh, now we got, is that a different one? Or that's the same one?
This is kiwi. This is kiwi.
This
Oh,
is kiwi.
fruit salad
Yes.
in this, up in this joint.
Yes.
Oh my
okay, well,
God.
All right.
down.
Here, we'll keep going while you're... Oh, you got it? Or you want us to take over?
That
Yeah.
one we haven't said yet, have we?
We did this one.
Yeah, we did
Okay.
that one.
No
Good.
worries. Just let us know if you need our
Thanks,
help. Amy.
Alanya.
Yes. DP never in. I love Wednesdays. Hey, Matt, I'm from Levittown. Levittown?
Oh yeah.
Long Island is a great place to be from. There you go.
True. Great.
All right. Steph, 22
Okay.
years sober.
That was answering my question. Somebody thought, isn't there a monthly charge to
Oh,
subscribe? No,
okay.
it's free to subscribe on YouTube.
Okay, perfect. Then we can get rid of the next one too, because that's also
Oh.
part of that.
Yeah,
And
I was
then-
just trying to show another comment that somebody else did it and it was free.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
Cosas de Osos. Question, are the guys now a permanent Wednesday feature? Don't get me wrong. I like them both, particularly Mark when he's trying not to interrupt the others.
Hey, haven't I got better? It's
You've
hard.
gotten
You
way
have to get
better.
used to it.
You do.
There's a lag, guys. So sometimes I'll wait and then someone doesn't talk. There's an extra little lag. So by the time I start talking, the other person started talking too. So I'm trying to, I'm working on
I
it.
was trying to say something.
I was going to, just as a bit, I was going to wait till you started talking and I was going to talk over for you for like the next 30, 40 minutes. So
You're doing much
Well,
better, honey.
but
Good
not
job.
You guys aren't every week, but where?
No, no.
this was a special
No.
invitation that I got and I decided to accept it. But next week, you're on your own.
No, I already had. No, we wanted the guys to. We thought this would be fun and they would have a lot of input on these points, and they did. So it was
Yes.
for-
Thanks for
yeah.
joining us, Matt and Mark. It's always fun
Yeah.
chatting with you guys. So you're welcome to
Yeah,
come
sure.
on anytime you like, but you're not
Exactly.
permanently required.
No, exactly.
All right, Dora Explorer. Apparently, while I am semi-sedated at my dentist, I fill everyone in on what's happening in the SPTV world. They are all fascinated. So now you have a pile of new Canadian fans. That's amazing.
Great.
Oh my
Great.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh, before I forget, we have
What?
we have a podcast, and it's called Blown for Good, and we are in the top 100 for 18 different countries right now.
Nice.
In the top 100 downloads for that country, the Blown for Good podcast. So if you like podcasts, sometimes there's episodes on the podcast that haven't gotten to YouTube yet and vice versa. But if you don't care about seeing our ugly mugs and you just want to hear us while you're on a drive or whatever, go on your Apple or Google or whatever. Most people listen to it on Apple Podcasts or an iPhone. But whatever you listen to it on, we're on Spotify, iTunes, any possible place you can download a podcast. You can get the Blown for Good podcast. So check it out.
And don't
I always
forget
forget to
leave
mention
a
it.
review if you enjoy the content, because just as subscribers drives the YouTube content out, reviews in the podcast world help spread the word. So thank you for your support.
Real
Oh,
good.
that's really
Very
good.
good.
Good. Okay, so yes, thank you so much, Joni Cummings.
Yay,
was
Joni
my
Cummings in the
birthday.
house. Awesome.
Yes.
Abigail S. October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, and Zach Morgan, Aaron's legal consult, would like to do a fundraiser live stream but hasn't reached 10,000 subscribers. His channel is Your Lawyer Friend Zach. Yes, so anyone not subscribed, your lawyer friend Zach, get on over there and subscribe.
Yeah.
And help him reach 10,000. When you hit 10,000 subscribers is when you have the capacity to be able to do a fundraiser on YouTube, which is an amazing feature. Google covers all the fees. And so the dollar amount that you see on any fundraiser is directly the amount that goes directly to the foundation. It does not go via the content creators. It just goes straight to the foundation that the fundraiser is supporting, which is amazing.
Yep.
Cody Mack. Amy, thank you so much for the book. By the way, so far I've gotten 30 co-volunteers to subscribe to your channels. Just know
Wow.
you are our heroes and we all have your back. Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
Nice.
That,
That's
Cody,
awesome.
right?
Amazing.
So much.
It's really nice.
Japan of Green Gables. Question: the guy with the motorcycle who was trying to woo Claire before Mark fell in love, was that Darius Wilhair? Yes. Why does this feel like Mark and Claire trivia here? Yes, you are correct, Japan of Green Gables. It was none other than Darius Wilhair.
I didn't know that. Now I know something new.
Yes, Cosmic Christie was looking up Hunger Game quotes for laundry games. Found these instead. Destroying things is much easier than making them. And stupid people are dangerous.
Both are true.
Yes, they are.
Fangirl Jen. Mark,
I showed
you
that
probably.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
you
there
showed
go.
that one. That was funny.
Thank
that
you,
was
Fangirl Jen.
funny.
That was so
Yeah.
funny. I
Cam-
can't believe Matt slept down there. We would barely go. We were so scared to walk down there. This dude was taking a nap down there.
Yeah, I mean, when you're tired, you're tired. I've fallen asleep standing up talking to somebody before, like mid conversation, just like clunk.
Yeah.
We're talking real, exhaustion.
Yeah.
I only starred this one because I thought it was funny. If there is a Terminator that the SPTV community can program to go back in time, we would have to take out Mimi or Mimi's parents because she's the one who got Tom Cruise into Scientology.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah,
Brilliant
a
thought.
bunch of people were
Rogers.
throwing shade at Mimi Rogers in the chat tonight.
Yeah, Mimi was smart. She got out. Bo Beats. This week, Amy made me cry. Mark made me laugh. Claire made me proud. And Matt, well, he always makes me smile. Keep up the great work, guys. Aw, thanks, Bo
Thank
Beats.
you, Bo.
Thank you.
That's a great comment.
Yes. FYT 54 54321. No fair, Mark. No fair. Mark isn't randomly selecting. He's choosing by other preferences of screen names and comments.
I do. Hey, babe.
No
I make
fair.
up the rules as I go. You know.
Mark, as we all know here, you wouldn't be watching if you didn't know that Mark is not a rule follower, folks.
That's right.
Jamie Lynn, you guys are all so awesome. After everything you've gone through, you treat everyone like family. You all are so kind, and it's been a joy learning about you all. Thanks for all you guys do. Amazing, Jamie Lynn. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for your kind comment. We really appreciate it.
Yes, definitely.
Kat and Maggie, I love the Mark and Mitch series. It's the creative process as done with the limits imposed by an evil troll. Valuable content. There you go. Yes, agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
Lisa Marchbanks, Dragonfish Handmade Goods. So happy to see all your faces together. Thank you for all your hard work. Oh, and thanks for the shout out earlier. Yay,
Yes.
Lisa.
Oh, yeah.
You're so creative.
Yes.
Thank you for your gifts.
Ann Burrow. Hey, Mark, what's up with the outdated photo on the Aftermath website? Love from Perth. Yes, we're working on that. We'll get a new one.
I'm not working on it. What are you talking about? What photo's up
I'm
there?
working on it.
Oh, the photo that's on the Aftermath website?
Yeah, your
That's-
headshot is from the same one from your book.
That's what I look like when we formed the Aftermath Foundation, and now I'm an old man.
Oh my goodness.
We're working on it. I'm not working on it.
Yes. Yeah, by we I mean me. Claire. Steph, 22 years sober. Is Keanu
Yeah, I
Reeves
starred
a
this one.
Scientologist?
Yeah, I starred this one as Keanu Reeves, a Scientologist, because there's some website put a link up that said celebrities you didn't know were Scientologists, and it was a YouTube video, and they used Keanu Reeves as the thumbnail, and I was so mad, and everybody in the comments was mad, and they were like, "There's no way this dude is a Scientologist,"
No.
and there is no truth. Keanu Reeves is not a Scientologist, and as far as I know, he has never been involved with them, and he is a completely solid dude that is a good guy, and I would never associate him with Scientology.
No.
I was mad at the thing, and I thought, is this an OSA op that they just got somebody to do this thing so that people think, oh, he's a Scientologist, so it couldn't be that bad.
And if he does it, then maybe something.
He's not.
If I were him, I'd be so mad. Anyway.
Yeah.
Salty
Aaron should
Beach
do a video
Girl Lori.
about how he's not a Scientologist.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Good idea.
Yeah, exactly. Salty Beach Girl Lori. Naming mine, Damn It Davy Doll. Like the ones you throw and say, damn it doll. There you go. Perfect. Damn it doll.
Good one. Good
Writing
one.
that down. Damn it, Davy
Damn
doll.
it, Davy. Damn it, Davy doll. Rorschach 2112. I cannot get enough of this content. It's so hard to believe at times that all this Scientology BS went on for so long. So glad all of you are out. Oh yeah, us too. Every
big
day.
time.
I had a nightmare last night that I was back in it. Just like woke up this morning. I'm like, thank goodness that's not real.
Yeah, those are dreams I have all the time too. I don't know why I still have them, but boy.
Yeah.
I'm suddenly there and I have to figure out how to get out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kimberly Stovall ordered my Dorky Davy doll. Love you guys. Nice. Thank
Writing
you,
that down.
Kimberly.
So far, I have L. Ron's Leprechaun, Damn It Davy doll, and what was that last one? What was that last one?
That was the Damn It David doll.
No.
That was the Damn It.
The last one was Dorky Davy, I think.
Dorky
yeah.
Davy. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I took it down too fast.
It's okay.
It's okay. I got it. Dorky Davy doll.
Yep.
Okay. And here's the last one.
Laura Estrada. I feel as if the unraveling of Scientology is a real life sci-fi in real time with an actual villain duping people for his own glory. Yeah, you and us, but all of us. Yeah, completely.
Yep.
Yeah, very much so. Wow. Good. Well, I hope we got all the comments because I wasn't looking in the general chat as I was crying, laughing so much during this. Thank you, Mark, for that. And I love you so much. It's such a joy to have you come on and stuff like that. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
I love
And
it
the
when you
joy
guys
to
have me
have
on
my
your
husband.
show. I love it when you guys have me on your show.
It's always fun.
You better be serious.
I do. I'm
Yes.
being serious. What do I got to do?
Oh,
Good.
awesome.
And
Always a fun
We did
time.
taco night, and no one got food poisoning at our house. So I think we're doing it
yeah.
right.
Yeah, my kids
Fresh
were like,
taco shells.
make us, can I, my oldest was like, oh yeah, I'm going to eat like 8 of these tacos. They're really good.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
Oh my
He
I
sure
love
goodness.
is.
taco nights.
Oh my
Ugh.
goodness.
Yes.
Crazy,
Okay, well,
crazy.
everybody, thank you again for being here. We love you all, and we'll see you again really soon, everyone.
Oh,
Yep.
do you have the new outro? No, I'm just kidding.
What's Oh, you mean the one that was like, he'll never know?
Yes, it will be.
I
our
haven't
little
used
secret.
it once. It never seems appropriate on
me.
some of the subject matters that we're talking about, but I will use
Gonna
it.
get you.
Mark my words, I will use it. I have it loaded up into my outros. I have it there.
You do?
But
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, but because we're in Team Amy tonight, I don't have any of my stuff. So I was like,
Right,
oh,
right.
you got away this time.
Yes.
well,
Anyway.
make sure that you subscribe and like this video, and we'll see you again soon, everyone.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.